Hi, hey, hello, OSL, and welcome back to week 4, day 2 of OSL Season 3. I hope you've all enjoyed the games happening tonight thus far. Finishing off the night, we have Zetsubou versus Melatonin. On the cards for this series tonight, we have Set 1, Blight on the Gas Haven by Zetsubou. Set 2, which is Pig on Midwich, which is a pick of Melatonin. Set 3, which is Hillbilly on the Blood Lodge, which will be our tiebreaker. Joined with me tonight once more is the man himself, Jarms. Jimmy, what's happening, my man? How are you feeling?
Thanks for the introduction, big man. Yeah, quite keen on these sets. This is three killers that I actually love to play myself. So have been grinding the blight and Billy pubs lately, and Send 10 loading it on the killer on the blight. This is something we haven't seen for it's been a while now, maybe like a good couple months since I last saw the bro have a proper blight game. So nah, definitely Zetsubou hot favorites. Looking at the sets, I can't lie. Can you see the pig set though, for sure? Would you find someone off the first 5 rushes north, or that's probably not the best start to, the blight set? Considering that, I think it's pretty well renowned and everyone knows how good Sen is at the killer, if not the best. I will happily admit that.
Definitely one of the best in the OCE region. With such a quick tag, we're going to be taking this chase all the way over down to 7, pre-dropping that rock filler, running all the way back into Shack. We're going to utilize the window or the pallet. We've opted to go to the pallet side, even though it's thrown, and we are going down. And unfortunately, that is a very fast down on the side of Melatonin, but taking into account it is an S tier, 40-second to a minute chases on average, usually in the OCE region, with all things considered, ping and such being taken into accounted for. Now we're going to take this hook onto Nortor, and we're going to go straight down the top side again to see who our next victim will be, going down to this one side. And we do see, I do believe that would be one person just working around this one generator, stealthing around. We do find Painkiller, who has just opted to hide behind this Z wall, and Sen's just going to have none of it. He's just going to go all the way back down to the hook of where he had. We did see an FTP come in as well from Austin. Pre-dropping this pallet is him, and he's going to be running around this trash filler really nicely, trying to juke around the hit a little bit more. And I do think this is going to be a little bit of a quick down here, Jarms.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of resource was used in the first chase that was for a short chase. This has also been quite a shorter chase as well, but has a very interesting build to back it up, choosing to hook the Wretched Fate fella, which is quite interesting to even, sort of take that approach. Probably just backs himself in with the amount of pressure he can gather. Yeah, as I said, kind of just interested to sit here and watch the bro do his thing. I know he, like I said, he's very well renowned on the blight. Crazy stealth here, I think, if we can pre-go away. I think that was Painkiller, another juicer on Melatonin, but yeah, as I was saying, he's definitely got the good mechanical ability to back up these quick chases constantly as well. That is gonna try the rush at main as well. And then we're gonna go back to the tunnel, I believe, Buller. So yeah, very very good approach. He's kind of in two minds right now.
Yeah, definitely. With the eruption procced onto both of those generators at the top side of the map, it's no wonder that Sin is so confident he's going to be able to down people and get those procs as soon as possible. Now we're going to be taking chase back on to A71, who is the second wind, and it just happens. He is healed at the moment, playing around this mid filler here. Another trash filler, if you will, and he's going to be getting tagged, unfortunately, while getting that pallet stun. Ping coming into effect there. He's going to be running to this filler outside of main now. Sen getting caught a little bit on the pallet, unfortunately. We do see the first generator of the trial procced in the background over at 10, and we're going to be able to play around this car beautifully, and we're going to be able to break away from chase and run all the way down to 5. Nice and far away from that one generator at the moment. A71 just continuing on this chase all the way down to the car filler, but the dead hard coming in, an absolutely crazy dead hard pre-dropping now the car filler, running back into the killer, doing a little bit of jiggy and going down, unfortunately, but that was a very nice dead hard nonetheless.
Yeah, it was a beautiful dead hard. It really was. Again, I hate to be that guy. Another really short-ish chase there. Again, S tier killers aren't really renowned to have a long chase, but yeah, I just don't think they have the gem pressure to back it up. They're double splitting too, so maybe I could be wrong. But he does have the pop and eruption at his disposal. He will commit for a tag onto, I believe this is Painkiller. So again, just with the amount of pressure that he definitely has going for them, it's definitely probably more Melatonin sided right at this current second. Especially if Grips doesn't get chased. No, we do get chased here, and I don't think Sen will commit for this. I think he'll just go back to the hook as most intelligence killer mains will. No pools coming in. We do see a crow, so he does know someone's here. Just gonna body block the Nortor here, the Claudette. Does get the trade going. This will be eruption down on 1. I'm not sure if Shaq has eruption on it, but regardless, still benefits for Sen indeed. Gonna choose to rush straight onto Nia. He's probably counting it down. She does make the filler regardless, choosing to body block with the rushes. Has to cancel one for TK. No, choosing to continue his rushes. That was immaculate logic from Sen 10. Choosing to go accelerate there, I believe. Cause.
Remember, he did have the Dead Heart and he was trying to bait it out, but I do feel like that flick by Sen over at the car definitely caught A71 off guard, and now we're going to be forcing this locker onto, I do believe this is Grips here, being pulled out and now going to be able to get hooked, and we do still have A71 in the main building as we do see a generator over at the bottom side being procced. And now looking at our gen split here, we have 1, we have around 3 and 4 and 5 at the moment, so still the gens are very well spread apart. That is our 3 gen. We do have 1 off in the mid 10 side, and this is just going to be the down onto Nortor, unfortunately, on the side of main. And this is looking pretty dire for our survivors at the moment if we don't have any gen pressure on the board, and I don't think we do after seeing that last one pop all the way at the bottom side. We're going to opt to take this hook just outside of main, and then the unhook coming over at 1. I dare say that's where we're going to be going next. We do see Ace in the background working a generator, and just our survivor Grips here running all the way, pre-running back to main. A71 utilizing this pallet over at 3, and we've kind of lost the killer at the moment. Not too sure what's happening. Maybe just camping out this the death onto our survivor there, but no, opting to chase all the way down at 3 as we do see the pull in the background happen. A71 going to have a juice to chase. Still does have Dead Hard in pocket. Not too sure if what was used there. I don't think it was. He is crouching. He is baiting it a little bit, but not unfortunately being able to hit it. I'm not too sure if he used it still, unfortunately. We are going to be picking A71. The Cracker coming in. No! Just unfortunately mistimed. Is Painkiller not quite being able to get the save, and that is going to be dire for our survivors, since that was just a little bit of gen pressure off the board, and just we were not rewarded for that. Unfortunately, it was all in vain, Jams.
It's not exactly the worst tunnel that I've ever seen. The gen pressure's quite decent. All things you said. I know 1 has a bit of pressure, 5 has a bit of pressure. He does have good gens right side though, which is pretty much spells to me to be 4K1. I would want to have it on record that I think with this balancing, good team versus good killer, I believe this is about 8 stages, 9 stages. 8 to 10, I'll be happy to come comfortably to say. I think it does. I think it is out. I think to get 4K, you do have to make mistakes. It's hard to pinpoint the mistakes Melatonin made. Maybe not playing into their builds is the thing I can see off face value a little bit, but again, it's hard to play around your build, play into your build when you sort of know when you verse those good killers that we do find the Claude edge map, as I was saying. Sorry, when you do verse those more experienced killers, they do tend to play around the balancing and the builds a bit more. And we did find, like I said, that Claude edge map, and Norto's having probably gonna have to have a quick chase. We do jiggy back into Shaq. Actually, really nice pathing and trying the basement tech, and Sen actually knows to sort of counter that. Usually a lot of pub blights would fall for that. I would fall for that, I won't lie, but yeah, no, another short chase, Hunter, again. Again, I don't think exactly they had bad RNG either, bro. The RNG's there. The gem pressure's there-ish. Nortor is dead as well, bro, so it's just gonna be 4K too, bro, I'll be completely honest.
I think one thing that we forgot to take into account when trying to basically guess where the win con was going is that there were injured survivors on the map. There were 2 injured and not being able to get that reset. Also, just ping being involved as well. Ping is definitely a big thing, even though we expect outs from a situation like this. Unfortunately, just wasn't going to be panning out. If we could just get a quick switcheroo onto our killer at the moment, we are just kind of looking at our Nancy just stealthing behind a car here, but he's just going to opt to try to get a good vantage point on all these generators. I mean, look at this. We have 1 generator all the way over in, I do believe that is mid 9, mid 10. We have 3, we have 1, and we have 5 at the moment. It is not looking good for our survivors at the moment. We do have 2 only alive, Painkiller being the only the only healthy survivor in the trial. There's not really much to do here. Maybe you get one of them just to sit on the generator if you can, all the way over at 10, just opt to take the chase as far as they can. Keep in mind there are a lot of resources being used on the map, but first we are going to opt to go for a little bit of a reset all the way down over at 11, while Sen 10 just looks around this 6 side of the map trying to spot out the stealth outs. He knows they're going for the reset, but he hasn't quite caught on to where they are at the moment. He is still on gen patrol, which he should be. You don't know if there's any sneaky little survivors just opting to go for the gen pressure as to oppose it for heal, but nevertheless, we do see the heal come into effect all the way over at the top side of the map, and now I dare say they're going to be split in gen pressure at the moment. Keep in mind that unfortunately through 1 to 5, there is not really much for you to work with at the moment. The pallets have been thrown. It is very close to the edge of the map, and just there's nowhere for you really to run. That 10 gen is probably your best bet to get done to the 4K1, if anything, because there's still just so much around it to be utilized. And Sen is just going to opt to sit here, park himself up. He knows he has the vantage point. He knows everything is just falling into his hands at the moment. This is really unfortunate for our two survivors here, Jams.
Yeah, I mean, kind of a snooze fest right there. I know the reset was happening. It's going to be a slow approach. I get that. But we just have to bear it out. And I think overall, I'm not too sure what the game plan is. Maybe just play 4K1. I don't see it being possible. These gens are pretty close. Very, very close. Considering you're playing the Blight as well. And yeah, overall, no, not much to say, Hunter. Just sort of not working the Deja gens. DS not getting chased off the rip. Yeah, these are things that are just sort of game-losing stuff, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Not really much left here to do, but obviously just to kind of look around at the moment and see if we can spot our stealth outs. Yeah, just going to opt to take this sorry, just going to opt to take this kick onto this generator over at 10, now just proccing Eruption in the process, and now going to be chasing our survivor here over at 10, going to be able to drop that pallet and run around accordingly. Now this is the kind of chase that we need to happen if we are to work those generators over at the other side of the map, and we do get a little bit mind gamed unfortunately over this R and L wall. The crouch tech coming in, very nice stuff from Grips to be able to dodge that hit from Sen. Definitely not easy to pull off from this killer, God forbid. Now just vaulting this pallet again and not getting hit. He's able to get away from that chase scot-free. We're going to be seeing Sen go all the way back down to 1, and like clockwork, like we said before, it is unfortunate that there's just not a lot for Painkiller to work with here. He's going to have to pull something out of the hat. Does have sprint burst to opt to go all the way down into the mid of the map. I'm not too sure if this pallet was thrown, but I know the door was broken at the very least. The pallet is still up, and it's going to be dropped, unfortunately. Not playing it patient enough. Maybe the ping getting to his head, maybe just a little bit uneasy, just opting to throw that pallet, getting hit as well, and now running all the way back around to the main side of the building. I don't think he's stuck around this pallet, and I think he's ran away. I'm not gonna lie. We do probably anticipate that there will be Grips working over at that 10 side of the map now. I don't think there's many kicks to be done on that 2 generator, 3 generator, by the way, as well. I have been informed, but now opting to take the chase over at this mid pallet, and yeah, once it's really down like that and you haven't made any distance, you're just pretty much done for. And now we do see the Eruption proc onto Grips here, and he does have his aura, and we were able to spot him out, getting that nice tag around the rock, and I dare say he's going to be going down very soon. This is going to be a 4K2.
Oh, the logic is nice, bro. I won't trip. Yeah, that's 4K2. That's a stomping of a result from probably, like I said, one of OC's best blights ever. So, no, that's dominating. I fear A71's blight has a tall task ahead of him. 4K3 win con. Does have to find Painkiller though, or else it will be a penalty applied. But I'm assuming we'll find Painkiller. Delhi's still in the trial. Not sure what it'll mean. I bet we don't go to intermission just in case something does happen, Buller. So honestly, not a bad result from Sen. Considering it is their pick, not sure why we haven't banned Blight against him or Zetsubou in general. It's kind of an interesting decision not to do that. Does go to the hatch, and he's going to stop it. But again, yeah, this Delhi is not really going to mean anything now. So I guess we can go to a short intermission and come back right after, a little break.
And welcome back, everyone, to the second part of the first set. Well, we had just seen in the first part Sen do a 4K2 technically. Now, because there was the fresh bleed out, it is a win con of basically a 4K2, but it's 11 hooks with 3 fresh hooks, so he does not get the fresh hook, unfortunately. Pulling from the rule book, it states that bleed outs on survivors will reward all remaining points to the killer unless it is a fresh hook survivor. The fresh hook will not be rewarded. Therefore, we are looking at a 4K. There's no Tycon. We're just looking for a 4K2 when we're playing as killer. Well, there is a Tycon, but it is very, very hard to achieve. But nevertheless, we do see the survival lineup of Key, Sen, Baki, and Stract, which is a demon survivor setup if I've ever seen one. And we do see 871, who is very good, renowned on the Blight for Melatonin now, using all these bump rushes to get all the way down to the bottom side of the map. Going to be swinging and fatiguing, seeing if we can find any stealth outs. Unfortunately, not being able to get the tag as quickly as we saw last game from Sen. We're going to opt to go all the way down to the 9 side, and we do spot someone out pretty early. This is Sen, unfortunately, getting a tag. It is pretty early. He is running all the way down to 10. I say that, and it was Caster's Curse. He's pre-dropping that pallet gym here. He doesn't really have anywhere to go. I think this is going to be a quick 2-tap if he's able to make something work. He has the Z-Wall. Can he juice up? Can the man juice up? This is going to be very hard. A71 playing really nicely amongst the mind games of the Z-Wall. Sen reading them perfectly. He doesn't have much to work with here. He's going to be swinging at air. Unfortunately, that's going to allow Sen to run all the way down to corner 7. He knows he's going to go down early, and he's working so hard with whatever he has on his edge. But is he going to make this? No! That was looking promising. That was looking promising.
I saw him pre-jiggy around the tires, and I thought maybe, just maybe, I can't believe he made it all the way down there. That's actually pretty cool. But yeah, a couple of cheeky buggers on this team, definitely. So I'm hoping they do well, all things considered. A couple of juices as well. Honestly, not a bad. It's funny to say, not a bad first chase. It looked really like 2-tap city, but made a really good death spot in the end. Whoa, that was a bit laggy. I'm gonna break that pellet 2 side. We do have ruin in effect as well in the background. Road eruption wretched, so quite a good build. And Sen's being farmed off the pretty early. I did see that light off the Z-Wall, so that makes me believe maybe he does have the DS. I could be wrong. But if Sen does have the DS, this is quite good for Zetsubou, considering he doesn't have DS, so that's actually quite a bit unlucky. So I think, yeah, Stract has DS, the ping player, which does make sense. Hopefully, Senten can last here. Kind of in an awkward spot. It does have Shack Pellet to work with, and that 7 edge. And does have Cello 6 Buller, so definitely potential for a good chase here. What?
Oh, the ping. Oh, my. That's absolutely crazy. Now we're going to be taking chase all the way around this Sin car, around this pallet car, these car pallets. Sen going to be utilizing a little bit of a crouch tech, working with whatever he's got. He still has the open window if A71 does choose to break this pallet. No, Brutal is going to allow him to make that scot-free, and we're going to be seeing that God window vault, unfortunately, for A71. This chase is going on for a little too long, all things considered. Sen just making absolute God's work of his RNG, and now he's running away entirely from the shack. He's opted to run around the window side a little bit longer. He's running all the way down to 7 to 8 to 9, and there's basically really nothing there for him to work with. If he can make the 10, maybe he has something to work with, but no, he's just kind of stuck at this window. Now, the good thing is he is really far away from the generators, and he's just wasting so much time going down. It is already the 4K3, just above the win con, unfortunately, for our killer here. We see the progress over at 10 Pallet Gym just being worked at the moment, but I do believe that was key. We're going to opt to take the hook back off to Sen, and we're going to try to go all the way on Gen Patrol if we can. We do spot out the ruin taking into effect 10, and it is Key who's just going to be pre-leaving this generator, and Baki just kind of stealthing around as well. It wasn't Key, might have been. Actually, it was Baki. My apologies, it was Baki. Key is off somewhere else working another generator, which will be over at 3. We do see that A7, sorry, that's Sen is still on the hook. We see Dwight working main, which is Stract, and we do see A71 just trying to basically camp Sen to death all at the same time, trying to make sure that 10 does not pop. He knows somebody's around and knows that they are cornered at the moment between the hook and the gen that's being slowly regressed by the ruin, which seems to be over at, I'm not too sure. I got a glimpse of its aura at the moment, and I've completely lost it. It does seem to be right next to the hook, just into that mid 8, unfortunately, next to the truck and the hook. So now we're going to opt to see if we can find anyone just stealthing around, and we did anticipate it, and we do see Baki. We're going to be taking a swing at the Bridgestone tires, unfortunately, getting that hit onto Baki as well. It's going to allow him to trade, and Sen going to go on another masterclass chase, if you will, maybe. He has some midfielders to be working with if he can make them in time, and we do bounce off the pallet. He does get the That was okay. No, that wasn't a dead hard because it was life. It was an endurance hit, and it's going to make him allow him to run all the way down to the car filler over outside of main. And this is going to be looking pretty rough for our killer here, Jumps. We're already at our win con tyke / Tycon thingy.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a note. That was really, really, really insane jiggy from the big man himself. Not to take away from the Sen's crazy last chase here, so I think I'll just talk about this real quick. We do enter main. I don't know why we're rushing main. It's pretty hard to use your power main with Blight, so Sen knows 4 rushes used. He's gonna just jump back through the window, play this front main filler. But yeah, this is quite a long chase. Like you said, we're already at that Tycon, kind of an issue. Sen just gonna play a bit of 50s now, and uh, this is the man that knows this killer probably better than anyone. And Austin is playing very, very well in some regards. It's just, you know, it's hard when you're versing the big dog, but does make that vault as well. Sen's playing pretty crazy right now. It's good to see that this survivor is you know, still intact, and that's all the gens popping. We're at 2 stages right now. I was gonna make a note about Backy's crazy stealthing when this chase ended, but I don't think this chase will end anytime soon. So well done from the whole team. Stractor's taking a hit here as well, just sort of having a geeze at the bottom. I think we're actually trying to play for 4 fresh here, which is insane, and unluckily we do not get it. This is going to be the death. This is 3 stages, so I don't know if we'll be able to play for more. But quick side note, well done to Backy there during that mid-game to end-game scenario. Played the stealth beautifully. I think Backy's definitely on the more underrated side of Survivor. So that was really good to see. This is going to be, like I said, 3 stages for the killer. So Sen having 3 chases, 3 lovely chases. Yeah, but really, really good result for Zetsubou.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very well played to them. I mean, we had a decent start getting that really early tag, and then just, you know, everything else went down the pishadu after because just everything fell out of our grasp. But nevertheless, we will be setting up the next match for you guys, which will be the pig set on Midwich Elementary. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a really quick short break. And welcome back, everyone, to the second set, which will be the pig set on Midwich Elementary School, which is a pick of Melatonin. Now on the killer is Nortor. And to be honest, I don't think I've really seen Melatonin play the pig, so it's an interesting pick. Nevertheless, for the survivor lineup, we have Stract, X-Tap, Synergy, and Geztrix. So this is a whole SEA lineup, if you will, which would be quite interesting to see who the killer is, considering that Zetsubou is a mixed team now. Nevertheless, we'll be loading into this match. And what do you anticipate here, Jams? Being like the, I guess like pig, you could expect around like 6 stages on Midwich. No, if it's like a good match, or no ping involved.
No ping involved, depending on add-ons and build balancing. Our balancing, this is again, it all relies on the survivors having the anticipation more than anything. If they have the right game plan, it's easily like 4. It could be 4 stages. It's a pig. It's M1 killer, bro. It's not really hard to track a pig on Midwich, especially. Oh, we get blinded there as our first chase on Distract is gonna happen. Did kept that God filler, so that's a good sign. Yeah, chases should be long against the pig. No ping considered as well. But on the contrary, if survivors play bad and the pig plays on the better end, it's definitely high stages. Talking 10, 11, as high as could be 10, 11. But again, the survivors have to misplay and sort of have a flawed game plan, which I don't think Zetsubou's survivors, especially, it's basically just a source team, if I'm not mistaken. Does make 11, by the way, bottom, so this is literally the perfect start.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to be pre-dropping all of these pallets. Stract being able to make so much distance in time. We do have the add-on that allows everybody to start with a trap on their heads, but none in disposal. So going to be really enforcing that early game pressure. And Stract just realizing it, knowing he has to last long in chase. He's going to be utilizing all his resources. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how the late game goes. He's going to be going down at this pallet, unfortunately, over in this classroom. I'm not too sure where we are at the moment. I wasn't really paying attention. I do believe this is bottom 8, if I'm not mistaken, bottom 9 or somewhat. So we are taking this hook over into the bottom 8 section of the map and going to be utilizing our stealth to see if we can find any stealthing survivors. We do see X-Tap on the totem. I do believe that was Ruin, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too sure. Can't really remember off the top of my head. Yes, it was. And we do have the Undying, which is gone. And we do have Pentimento at our disposal, which is top 2. Now got to be trying to get this M1 onto Geztrix. It's not going to be allowed. He's going to be making that pallet in time, getting the stun onto Nortor. He's going to be taking that kick onto the pallet and now going to be lighting his first Pentimento of the trial over at top 2. We're going to be maybe taking to this kick onto 1. No, we're going to opt to go all the way back down to hook, wasting absolutely no time to try and get our tunnel out as soon as possible. Nortor is hungry for blood. He's going to be utilizing his stealth a little bit longer, coming in and out, in and out. And now we're going to be able to spot our survivors off guard. There is, I do believe that is Sanji and X. No, it is X-Tap, and I'm not too sure who else is in chase, but X-Tap being the health survivor is going to opt to go all the way into courtyard. Nortor's going to have none of it and going to opt to chase Stract in the process, pre-dropping that bottom 5 God pallet, now running all the way down the hallway and trying to go all the way, probably maybe to 1. There is an active generator there. I'm not too sure if this is the play. We do see the Ruin pop in the background, or I do believe that was a Pentimento, or maybe both are gone and I'm completely smashed. Nevertheless, going to be taking the chase all the way back down into courtyard, so we're not going to opt to use those rooms. We were going to opt to go for a little bit of a hit take here on the side of X-Tap, which is a really smart play. Not really much for Stract to be working with at the moment. He's going to be forced into that that bottom 1 room, and I can only assume maybe the generator is about to pop, or there is a comm to get off the generator as soon as possible. But no, we're going to be interrupting it, unfortunately, leading the killer over into the active, and we're just really struggling to get one of these generators proc. But maybe we're going for a little bit of a 99 tech until everybody can get their hats off, Joms.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting approach. Stract, I believe, who was the person in chase, has been having quite a juicer in the background. I think he's used every single good resource on the map, barring the house filler. So now it's just about playing the God windows. Second Penti going to be lit. That'll be commed pretty quickly, I imagine. Yeah, now it's about playing the windows and the walls, on which we've used every single good filler, like I said. And he's still doing it really lovely as well. Gonna break off for this 11 filler. Quite another strong filler, all things considered. And yeah, Nortor's going to choose to play this one, when realistically I think Stract is safe on that filler, but did opt to choose to go to this 12 filler. Going to play this one instead, probably a little bit less safer. Yeah, we do see the Bloodlust cut kicking through there. Still quite a mighty cracking chase, I can't lie. They're playing really well. Yeah, Penti, the efficiency from Zetsubou survivors are like really impressive, and there's a few blokes not reset. There's no gens of pop, but I think there's a reason for that.
We are going for the 99 tech at the moment on all generators across. It is just unfortunate that we don't have Eruption at our disposal. No hats off at the moment, so we have opted to just pop that generator over at top 9, which is a really interesting play. Maybe we're just saying absolutely screw it, and we're just going to go for the pops and just try to get as much pressure as possible, because it is looking pretty dire for our survivors, all things considered. Even though we have gen pressure on the board, there's just nothing to facilitate for it. If he was to down everybody at the moment, all of the gen pressure would just mean fucking shit. Like, I'll be completely honest with you, but nevertheless, we're going to be opting to go to this top side of the map over the top 3. We see the scratch marks running all the way down to top 5, and I do say this might be one of our injured survivors, noticing there's a little bit of blood on the floor. Unfortunately, we have core X-Tap at the moment, who's going to be running down this bottom 5 all the way down to bottom 4. He still has the filler pallet and the God window to work with, opting to pre-throw the God pallet. That is a waste of a resource. Unfortunately, we're going to be going from there just back to the hook as Nortor, and now he's going to be taking this tag onto Sanji. This is going to be a trade, and everything is just kind of falling apart at the moment. Are we going to opt to slugger, or are we going to opt to pick? I think we're going for a little bit of the fresh hooks at the moment. We don't have any perks at our disposal to be working with. The only thing that we have is maybe an extra Pentimento from a broken totem that I hadn't seen, maybe off on the 9 side of the map. I'm not quite too sure. I didn't really get a good look at it, but unfortunately, just really nothing but complete M1 and ability to be working here if you are the side of our pig at the moment. The boys just maybe struggling a little bit to get their hats off as well. We do see some more generator pressure in the background. We're going to see Nortor opt to go just to exactly where that is. I do believe that is top 7, and we're going to be catching out Stract, who's going to be forcing Locker. A very interesting play. And now, what is the next move for us survivors here, Job? I would beg to say that the killer is actually in control of this match, all things considered.
Yeah, I would have to agree. After watching the last 3 minutes transpire, maybe I was about to say too savage. Maybe Zetsubou aren't as efficient as I thought they were being. Not getting the hats off the bro. One of the bros who did have a hat is dead, and X-Tap's just getting mind gamed here at the wall. We do see a gem pop in the background as well. I think another one is fairly high. But no, yeah, I'd say this is sort of where what I was saying, alluding to earlier. This is sort of where Nortalk can actually play for high stages now. 4K maybe, not too sure, but that 9 stages probably comes through. But I'm gonna be completely honest with the way it's looking right now. It might even just be a 4K 2, maybe 4K 1, depending on what Geztrix is doing. If he's sitting on the gen or if he's you know, sitting or sorry, rotating for the bro on the ground. But yeah, like I said, that one gen is very, very high. I'm assuming whatever Gez was doing in the background is also very high. Kind of a awkward play here. We do see Geztrix get into chase, so I think Nortor's just secured a 4K2 against Zetsubou. Pretty much prime source with Sanji, I'm gonna be honest.
A very well played killer movement here from Nortor, just being able to capitalize on the mistakes that were prompted from Zetsubou. He's struggling a little bit to get this down at the house here, but I don't think that'll really pose him any problems. All the pallets are thrown at the moment, and we've kind of built Gestrix a house, a little bit of a house. Gonna be getting that little bit of a ping hit, unfortunately. Not quite too sure what that was. I mean, they're both SEAs, so I'm not too sure, but nevertheless, gonna be taking the hooks onto these boys, and it is a 4K2, unfortunately, for the side of Zetsubou. But fortunately, for the side of Melatonin, this is exactly what they need to get back into the game. Both sides playing their killer sets really, really well. Now, can Zetsubou match this 4K2, 4K3 win con, 4K2 tie con? We're just going to have to wait and see as we go into a quick intermission. But I think we'll just opt to try and see if we can find where this bleed out is at first, because we did, okay, in the last set, we did unfortunately jump the gun a little bit and decide to go into intermission, and there was a fresh bleed out, and there was a lot of confusion amongst the rules. Now, keep in mind, if there is a fresh bleed out, you lose the fresh hook, you are rewarded all remaining points. So it just becomes a little bit of an awkward win con, a very awkward tie con, pretty much really hard to get by. You can basically say there's no Tycon in that regard, but nevertheless, we're going to be taking the hook onto X-Tap. He's going to be trying to get to the next game as quickly as possible, which we are too. We're going to be seeing you guys really, really soon. Don't go anywhere. Grab your popcorn. This is going to go down to the wire. I feel fingers crossed, and we'll see you all very, very shortly. And welcome back, everyone, to the second half of the pig set on Midwich Elementary, where we'll be seeing X-Tap take the killer spot for Zetsubou. His Tycon is 4K2, his Wincon is 4K3. A very, very tall order, unfortunately. Can the survivors do it? They just need to pop 4 generators to win the game. Jarms, what are we thinking with the team of A71 Grips, Nortor, and Priyu?
I'm really, really shocked that the bro Nortal was able to produce some greatness last per set. That was really, really pleasant to see if you are a fan of Melatonin slash soft. But on the contrary, it was interesting to see a full force lineup basically fielded. Quite intimidating. They did not have the greatest result. You know, it was a 4K2, as you said. So this means XTAP has to play for 4K3. Now, my heart tells me I just don't. It doesn't matter how good XTAP plays. I just don't feel like it's likely. Definitely possible, but not likely. Overall, though, the sloppy surveillance ruin is quite a nice build that I would like to point out. He's obviously going to play this kind of hit and run sort of play style, which is obviously what you need to do. It's maybe not hit and run per se. It's more you're just going to play really aggressive. And that's how you get the 4K3, obviously. But I think he's probably just playing for the 4K2. But Grips has a nice setup here to start off the game, which is not the best thing that you want to be seeing if you're X-Tap.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to be utilizing all of these filler pallets inside of top 4 and top 3. Now, a good thing to note is also the fact that we haven't seen Corrupt due to the add-on being brought into the trial. I'm still not quite too sure the name of it, but it's the one where you start with all the traps. It is the area add-on. And yeah, it's just like really not needed. It is, I guess it's kind of overkill for the start of the game, but we did see that Nortor last game did capitalize on that fact. Nevertheless, going to be taking the chase back onto our near here after getting, like you said, the hit and run onto Grips. if you will. A lot of tags being on the board, a lot of early game pressure is going to be able to make XTAP maybe fight for this win con and have a fighting chance. Now we're going to be taking the tag onto A71, and are we going to leave this, or are we going to opt to commit this chase? We're going to opt to commit. Now keep in mind, everyone still has their traps on their heads as well, so we haven't seen anybody doing any boxes. I can only imagine that they're facilitating all of that gen pressure at the moment and just opting to go for a little bit of a 99 tech like the last game we saw. XTAP's going to be kicking that bottom 5 pallet, that god pallet, and running all the way back, stealthing all the way back down to 6. We have picked up on it, and I do believe that is Nortor who's going to be running all the way down from 6 all the way down to 8, 9. And we're going to opt to have none of it. We do hear a little sad Nia just at bottom 6, and we have opted to take the chase back onto A71. We got a little bit of an aura reading, thanks to, I do believe that was surveillance. I'm not too sure. But we're just going to opt to continue chasing onto A71. Are we going to be able to get this hit in time? And we are! That is so unfortunate for the side of Melatonin, but very fortunate for Zetsubou at the moment. Jumps.
What the hell? No, that was Undying proc that you saw, big fella, but still very advantageous for XTAP. Not a bad first down, all things considered. I'm not sure what the gen pressure on the board is looking like, but all the traps are active. Oh my god, we're at 2 gens. So we're at that Tarkon already. Obviously quite a cracking first chase then from what I'm seeing, but XTAP silver lining, he does have to... The game's at a full slow right now. Oh! So... I'm getting PTSD right now. Cash, actually, I was screaming Cash on the pig in this same exact location too, and he walks up behind me and grabs me. Obviously, Grip's a bit more aware than I am, but does throw the pallet. Oh yeah, my PTSD starting to kick in, so I have to get high. Jesus.
Oh me, oh my. Yeah, no, I had meant to say Undying before, and I said surveillance. I'm actually an idiot. Nevertheless, we're going to be taking the chase onto Grips and just downing him in the process. But we do see A71 still on the hook, and they are at the Tycon at the moment of a 4K2, which is very interesting to see how the game goes. Do we just opt to go for the gen pressure and just try to smash out this last generator, or do we try to get our hats off? Do we try to play safe? Do we try to get the unhook? I think Nortor's in a little bit of a predicament. He doesn't really know what to do at the moment. Does he go for the pick, and does he go for the unhook? He has opted to go for the unhook, and we're going to go a little bit of a body block before that we can get A71 just from hitting second, baby. No, we're going to opt to go for a trade now. Very fortunate in the side of Melatonin, now taking this tag onto Claudette and downing them in the process. It was very odd at the moment. I think we had like a little bit of a spectator bug to see where XTAP was actually looking, but nevertheless, that will be the down onto Nortor. That will be the slug, and we're going to go for all this pressure. Like you said, utilizing our build accordingly is just going to make sure we get all that slugs at a 4K2 to ensure that we do meet this Tycon, in fact, because we can't win the game, but we can definitely tie it. Is Ripe ready to pop? What's happening here? Team, we're not getting the tats off in time, unfortunately, and we're going to be seeing Nortor go down, unfortunately, once more, being slugged, and we're really relying on this hat pressure at the moment on the side of XTAP here.
Yeah, I fear the 4-man slug's not going to last too long. As soon as one hit gets the head drop off, right on cue. It's going to just drop a lot of pressure for him, because now Ripe can literally just go sit on a gen, and he sort of can't do what he's doing. I fear the pressure might be too strong at the moment. And he's definitely able to 4K this right here, right now. Like, let's not get it skitzing, but assuming 1 or 2 more blokes get their trap off, I think it'll be a Melatonin win. Would you say Ripe's not on the gen yet, so maybe... Can't reset. I'm not sure what he's doing. I'm not sure what his play is. I think he should just be sitting on a gen. Because, yeah, okay, no, he is sitting on a gen. My bad. Good man.
He is sitting on bottom 2, but he is unaware of the fact that XTAP is right around the corner and going to be able to get this down. And now that is the healthy survival without their hat out of the game at the moment, going to be taking on this hook. And we did see somebody over at top 2. Like we said, this is just like really unfortunate that they're getting caught out by their aura and not being able to get their trap off as well. And they're going to opt to go for this pre-drop of the pallet. I do believe this is our near A71 who's going to be opting to go all the way back down to the bottom 10. And wait, what's just happened? What? Did Grips just die off of the hat?
Yep.
Oh boy. It's falling apart, team.
That's Tycon. GG's.
Oh wait, everyone's got... Oh no. It was fully underneath my nose. I had no idea. And now everybody is gone out of the trial. That is Tycon, like you said. That is absolutely crazy that we're able to meet that. The hit and run tech, everything that just happened, the early game pressure, my God, all falling into the hands of X-Tap. Well played to Zetsubou to be able to tie this set. It was looking very unlikely, unfortunately. And we're going to be waiting out for the Mori. But we're not going to make... Oh, maybe we're going to play it quickly. We want to get to the tiebreaker, which will be, if I'm not mistaken, a Hillbilly set. And welcome back, everyone, to the tiebreaker. Yes, you heard me correctly. Tiebreaker. Do we love them? Yes, we definitely do. And we're going to be broadcasting every one of them to you from now on, since this is the last game of tonight. And it will be Sen on the Hillbilly first up for the side of Zetsubou. On the side of Melatonin, you have A71, Nortor, Grips, and Painkiller, like we have previously seen. And I do believe it was the Blight set, a very similar, if not the exact same lineup. All things considered, this is going to be still pretty close, I do believe. I do anticipate that Zetsubou will remain victorious out of this because of just the sheer fact that they are very good on those S-tier sets, but nevertheless, really keen on seeing what Melatonin can pull out of the hat. As we load into the match, we do see the Billy spawn more to the central side of the map, which means that probably that the survivors would be spawning all the way at the top side of the map. Now we're going to opt to take this chainsaw all the way over to the one side, just passing this big rock hill at the moment, seeing if we can find any stealth out survivors, maybe on the 11 side now that there's nobody over at 1, or maybe the stealth was just absolutely too good for Sen to be able to see anybody. Now we're going to opt to go all the way down to this truck, and we're going to be taking chase onto the mid side, the middle of the map around this car filler here. Going to be utilizing a corner tech accordingly. Is going to allow A71 to make distance all the way down to the shack, and no, opting to go around the rock here. We're going to be trying to go for a little bit of a flick here by Sen, but we're going to opt to just swing wide, and we're not going to be able to get that flick in now, pre-dropping that shack pallet. That is shack gone at 5 generators remaining. If you are a pub player, you are absolutely molding, but A71 knows what he's doing. He knows he has a rock filler here. He knows he's going to play it to his absolutely best ability and going to be going down. Unfortunately, not being able to read that and just trying, I think he tried a little bit of a corner tech there, but it didn't work quite out in his favor. I'm going to be taking the first hook of the trial as we see the generator progress in the background.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad chase. It was, I mean, all things considered, it's actually not bad, but does have that standard Hillbilly build, the Ruin, Bam, Eruption, and Corrupt. I think they either spawned split or they spawned just full hard 11, so it's a bit unlucky for Sen to track all the way to 1 off the rip, but the pull is going to come in really quickly. Not too sure what A7's build looks like, to be honest. I'm pretty sure it's something without any tunnel out. Yeah, here's leader fast track, so this is not really the build you want to be getting tunneled, I'll be completely honest. Does have the medkit at his disposal, which is very interesting, so maybe Sen thinks it's deadly.
Yeah, maybe, because there's a little bit of a medkit tech there, just a little bit of a fake out. We do want to be getting that deli as soon as possible. I think Sen thinks he's secured it, but nevertheless, we're going to opt to take this chase all the way down to the middle of the map once again around this car pallet by utilizing the Bridgestone tires, and the bricks is going to allow him to make that edge map filler, like, it's not the edge map, sorry, the edge main filler, pre-dropping that in the process. And is he going to be able to get flicked out? And no, he isn't, but he is going to be going down via chainsaw, and that will be the second stage taken onto A71 if we choose to pick, but we're opting to scare the survivor off the generator over at main. We see the stealth out over at 5 by Grips, who is just kind of hiding behind that rock. We see the gen pressure in the background, where I do believe that is 9 and 12. And now we're going to be taking A71, hooking him all the way in the middle of the map. A nice hook in the middle to kind of patrol all these generators. We do see there's some progress in the background, which is going to allow us to get the second generator procced in the trial. We know that somebody is stealthing around at 6 and not being able to do much, not being able to work a generator. We do know there's somebody else off in the distance just absolutely pumping. All things considered, this is a very even match at the moment. And now we have opted to take chase all the way down to shack. As we know, there is nobody really rotating, and we can only anticipate that there'll be gen pressure on the board at the moment from the other side of the survivors. Log jokes, I am joking. There is the unhook gone from Nortor onto A71, who's going to be taking chase all the way down to the dun generator over at 12 maybe. Going to be throwing this mid-10 pallet in the process and wrapping around the long side of that car, and maybe opting to go a little bit more to the mid side of the map. No, trying to go to this another car filler. Wow, that is crazy at the moment. He's just got all the safe loops at the moment, but not playing it accordingly, pre-dropping it on the wrong side and just getting caught out, and that will spell maybe his death. No, that will definitely be his death. And that will be the first person gone from the trial. Another generator procking in the background. It's a 3v1 at 2 gens remaining.
Yeah, Sen has pretty good 3-gen as well. Has that Shaq main in 5 side. So honestly, not the worst scenario for him to be in. It was leaning more survival sided until A7 sort of got tapped on that last chase that he had there. But we are going to make the this edge map 6 grips. We are going to get flicky around it. Send Tennyson. Well played, eat your heart out. We do have an immaculate gen split, like I was saying. Probably even a 4-gen, considering he is playing the Hillbilly. Sense Hillbilly's not too bad. I think you miss a couple chainsaws, you miss a few, you know, miss a few downs that he should have gotten. I think things can get out of hand, but nah, he's absorbing and sustaining pretty well right now. I'll be honest, it's looking more like a 4K now.
No, definitely, and with everything taken into account, when we look into Sen's past history with who he mains as killers, he does like his movement killers. Billy, Oni, definitely Blight, as you had all seen previously today. He knows exactly when to go to the map and when to use traverse ability to get to all those spots that he needs to. So he's playing really well at the moment, being able to get a basement hook. And now he's in complete control around these generators, just kind of sitting in the middle of the map, revving up his chainsaw, and he's just going to be playing it as soon as he sees someone. And now he will be in chase with Nortor, who is our sprint burst survivor, going in, wrapping around this broken 4 walls tile over at 5, going to be giving a little bit of jiggy around the corner, going faking in and out, going to be playing around this pallet, getting M1 through it, unfortunately, and kind of wasting the resource. He should have just opted to take the little bit of a sprint, a little bit of a speed boost from that instead. But instead, no, getting flicked around the corner. Oh my, that could have been played so much better, but unfortunately, Nortor just going down. I think maybe the ping got to his head. Maybe he was a little bit indecisive. We're going to go back to where that basement hook was. We're going to try and catch Grips out again, and I do believe this is our second win survivor here. He's going to be healed anytime right now. Or maybe he was the deli. No, maybe I'm smashed and he was the deli. I'm fairly sure he was the deli. If we can get a quick switch around, he was able to deli around the basement, and we've just been able to sit over at main Painkiller. And now Nortor up as well. Maybe the unbreakable survivor. And yes, that is correct. We do see Painkiller just absolutely smashing that generator. And that's exactly what you need on the side of Melatonin. Now taking this hook onto Grips. We're going to go all the way back down to main. But the thing is, it's like we can't slug Painkiller being the No-Mither survivor. If we down the No-Mither survivor, we essentially have to pick up here. Otherwise, he's just going to pick himself straight up if these survivors can last long enough in chase. But nevertheless, going to be picking the hook off of his Grips onto Nortor, and now going to opt to take chase all the way down to the basement and trying to do a little bit of jiggy around the steps, but this is just going to spell his ultimate demise.
Yeah, I mean, they'll pop main for it, which was pretty cool. We don't pop main. That's game changing.
Tragic.
Yeah, that's going to give him the 4K too that I think he's seeking. Especially considering that this survivor that was here, the Renato young Grips, he's trapped on this side of the map, has the balanced landing, so not going to get any value from it. And Painkiller is going to be just straight up dead with an unexpected chainsaw. Shadow comms from the bros, but is choosing to pick Painkiller probably the smart thing to do. They don't get main in time. I'd say 4K2 for a Hillbilly, if that's what it results out to be, is very, very suffice if you're Sentinison and the team of Zetsubou.
It's not over until it's over. And yeah, pretty much we're just fighting for that last generator to be popped to the 4K one realistically. If we get outs from this, I'm going to be very surprised. I'll jump out of my seat and start doing the happy dance. But nevertheless, going to be taking chase all the way down to Painkiller once more being unhooked. Now going to be opting to go for Nortor instead of going for Painkiller, who's going to be running around this top side of the map. Are we going to leave? Are we going to stay? We're going to opt to stay. We're just going to try to flick around this. We're not quite getting it, unfortunately. Is Sen barging into that pallet. We're going to be opting to go for a little bit more of a flick again, and he knows there's gen pressure in the background, and we see main pop. Oh my god, I said it. I'm going to do my happy dance if we get it done. No, unfortunately, pre-dropping that pallet is Nortor getting a little bit impatient and vaulting over it and just going down in the process. And now I do believe this is Nortor's first hook, so it's still not completely undoable by the survivors, but looking at the 3-gen, it is going to be very hard. It is a little bit spread out at the moment. I think you might have the ping pong maybe 5 and 9 at the moment. You can kind of sit in the middle and kind of patrol the hook. The hook is off to a little bit to the side as well, so not really in our favor at the moment, or not completely in our favor. It still technically is in our favor. Nevertheless, going to be taking the chase onto Painkiller, who's going to be utilizing this rockfill, utilizing the Z-War, maybe no going down. Okay, it's looking dire. I take it back.
Yeah, not much gem pressure. Everyone sort of regressed everything down. I'm so surprised everyone told me it hasn't been called. It's kind of killing them right now. Yeah, not much to say really. Is that Babysitter Deli? Pretty sure it's banned. No, it wasn't. Okay, I'm just smashed.
Oh, you're smashed. Nah, it's fine.
But nah, yeah, well played to Sen. I think the survivors are not actually playing bad. That's the thing. The gen pressure's just not there. They got to cook 3-gen. That's why you got to do your 3-gen Deja gens off the rip and prioritize those, as Grips is gonna go down. Sort of just dwindling them down now. That's the death. So 4K1 on the big dog. Yeah, I would argue that's probably a bit above average. Like I said, yeah, Billy's a weird one. It has the potential to be low stages if the chases are long, but I guess that's really any killer, to be honest.
No, yeah, definitely. And when everything that was good in our survivor disposal gone, we are looking towards the 4K1. We're going to have like a 2-minute chase if we're on the side of, well, not 2 minute, that's a bit of an exaggeration. Maybe like a 1.5 minute if we're on the side of Nortor trying to get Shaq done in that process. But Sen would have to overcommit that entirely, and I just don't think he was going to allow that to happen. But nevertheless, he does get that down really quickly, and he's going to opt to go all the way back down to Shaq. He does notice that there will be somebody working that. He's going to be trying to sniff them out, and he's going to be revving up the chainsaw and going back to the hook. He maybe anticipates that they're going back for the hook, but no, Sen, they're just hiding over at 6. We as the viewers know that, but Sen just not taking any chances, has to kind of go in and out of where he knows the generators are being worked at, where that hook is, and we're just going to have to painfully wait for the ultimate demise of Nortor. And if Tori does get out of this trial, it doesn't really mean anything. There is one hook gone out of the game, but what can you do at that point in time? There's still the 4 fresh hooks. It'll just be like a really awkward Tycon once more. Nevertheless, just kind of sitting around with like a chainsaw, just revving up, seeing what we can work with here. Well, if we can spot out Painkiller, who's just kind of stealth edge map over at 5, just kind of waiting everything out really patiently. If we can just get a quick gander at where our gates are, I do believe there is one over at 10 where the hook is, and maybe one over at 6 where the shack is. And yes, we are correct. We do have somewhat of Seabass gates, if you will. And maybe we have to opt to go back to that shack, my boy said. Otherwise, I think that, oh no, we're going for the gate. Okay, yeah, I do believe Painkiller knows that. You know, maybe my timing's definitely off. That's for sure. I'm smashed, and we're going to opt to take this stomp onto the hatch and going to be patrolling these gates accordingly. We do see the one at 10. We do see the one behind us. We know there's no one behind us. Oh wait, we're just big balling it. Goal for 6, bro. If he gets out of this, I'm gonna crash out. There's no way. There's no way he gets out of this.
It's actually perfectly timed. There was really good wits from Painkiller to get on the gate. This is the second time he's done this in 2 weeks. He's not going to get it, but it was a fair attempt. I'll be honest with you. It was a really good attempt. But 4K1, well played to Sen. That's all I have to say. It was I really admire watching 2 high-level teams
And welcome back, everyone, to what could be potentially the last game of the night and the last set. It is the tiebreaker where you have just seen Sen pull a 4K1 against the side of Melatonin. Now Melatonin being on the killer A7 was going to have to match the Tycon of 4K1 if we are to go to another tiebreaker set. Or, on the contrary, if he is to win, he is to get the 4K2, but if the survivors are to win, they just need to pop all generators and just yeet out the trial, or just pop all generators, essentially. And I think it can be done definitely with the side of Sen, Key, Baki, and Stract being played for Zetsubou. Definitely a very strong lineup, as we have previously seen, especially in DBD Indo, if you guys have been caught up to there. Now, a few things to note. Technically, one thing to note, there was an offline tiebreaker played between the last game, which was, if you missed it, Lira San Marine and Kaito Kids, which Kaito's kids have emerged victorious, which means that Yeah, Kaido kids are on top of their grip, which is just, you'd love to see it, basically. I do believe they're on top of their grip. I'm not too sure. I could be smashed, but I'll get a double check on that. Don't take my word for it. But nevertheless, going to be going into more recent events is A71, who's going to be rotating all the way to this one side of the map, flying a very happy Dwight with a very happy hat. Going to be pre-dropping this pallet over at 3 and trying to make as much distance as we possibly can, but not really much to work with at the moment. I think that pallet is a little bit too far away. Can A71 get the flick? No, unfortunately, the mechanic's just a little bit too much for him to handle. The blue speed just not really being in his favor at the moment. We're going to opt to leave this chase. A very interesting decision here from A71. We're going to be opting to go for something maybe a little bit more in our favor, and I don't think that Shack is a lot more in our favor, Joms.
No, definitely not. Pretty standard build again on the bro. Yeah, shout out to Quinny and the boys. They did win 2-1. And you are right, Buller. They are first. Oh, as we see, Sen have a really, really short chase. Off the Shack, kind of getting sniped there, trying to break away, but no, you are right, Buller. They are first, Kaido kids. Unless Zetsubou win right now. So, if Zetsubou win, they'll go into first, considering they haven't lost a game at all yet. And Kaido kids 2-1 right now. So this will push Zetsubou 3-1 in the standings, which is quite big. Oh, as we turn around and we do catch Packy Backy. Just getting sniped off the hook there. Not really what you want to be seeing. I don't know if Sen has that DS. They don't have no Mother on the builds. Something interesting to note. We do have the DS on the bro. Head on. What? Are we smashed, bloke? Like, what are you up to? We got head on Urban DS. I mean, fair income. Yeah, that's a crazy build, I guess. I'm not too sure.
We are cooking with that build. I didn't even take notice into that. I'm really excited to see what's going to be happening there. Maybe just the locker into decisive strike and head on. Who knows? I think we're going for a little bit of that tech there, but nevertheless, we're going to be opting to leave whoever we were in chase with just then and maybe opt to go for something a little bit more in our favor. We do spot the happy Dwight and the happy hat, and that is Stract, and he's going to be vaulting the window, slow vaulting it even, unless that was a quick and quiet play, which I don't think it was, pre-dropping the pallet outside of main and running all the way down to Shack, maybe getting as much distance as we can. No, opting to use this filler just outside of Shack, which is more central towards the map. We do have the pallet gym still to be worked with, and it is a generator over at 5 at the moment, pre-dropping the pallet, and we don't really have much to go with unless we can make that filler pallet all the way over to the mid side of the map. We have 2 filler pallets, but we just opt to go for a little bit of a crouch tech, a little bit of indecisiveness, and a little bit of lack of awareness is going to spell our death, unfortunately. Well, not our death, but another hook onto Stract. Unfortunately, this will be his second stage of the trial, if I'm not mistaken. This is our tunnel out. Just let me get the scores up real quickly. And no, it's his first hook. Okay, I'm absolutely not paying attention. Nevertheless, we're going to see Backy on the generator over at, I do believe that is main, and we see some, I do believe there's a Sen working over at this Shack side, and now we're going to be vaulting the window, bamming that as soon as possible, and now we're going to be utilizing the filler outside of Shack, pre-dropping it instantly, and breaking it instantly is A71, and Sen is going to be able to make this other filler pallet all the way over down the mid-central side, opt to go for a little bit of pathing that is completely unorthodox, working out in his favor, and it's going to be able to make a lot of distance in regards to that, but nevertheless going to be utilizing this pre-drop pallet as well, and now A71 struggling a little bit to get this down and finding 2 survivors out in the open. Not too sure what we're doing here, team, but we're having a chase, I guess.
I think Sen does so well in chase as he breaks his LOS on like the killer's LOS really, really well. And able to create extra distance, it seems like, just by doing that. Makes you hesitate, makes you think a bit. Quite an underrated technique that I haven't really seen a lot of people do. Or at least actively think about, but we are going to continue to chase onto this kind of rubbish pallet. Bit of movement here from Austin, or should I say A71, I should say. And honestly, not in kind of in 2 minds. Doesn't know if he should commit to Sen. Doesn't know if he should go to his gens. He's choosing to commit to Sen. We have another filler. He's really actually got Sen RNG this game, and we've been pissed on. I can't even trip. You actually got destroyed, but look.
I can't really defend that, unfortunately. Just being caught out in the corner of that dumpster filler, unfortunately, was Sen, and now being picked up and having his first hook on the trial. The second generator in the trial being procced in the background, so we're 1 step closer to the Tycon, which will be in 2 generators' time. But A71 applying the pressure really, really well. That is Sen's second stage, so we are at 3 hooks at the moment, so this is completely doable if A71 can capitalize on a really early down, very close to the hook. Backy not going to allow it to happen, got to be vaulting that gold window over in the fun bus and just going to be playing around at making sure that he's not going down. A71 going for a little bit of a fake around to see if he can catch Baki off guard, but it's not going to fall. He's not going to fall for it. He knows that it's the tech at the moment. He knows it. So A71 knows that Baki is not on a generator. He's just kind of got his thumb in his ass over at the fun bus at the moment, and Sen's just on hook, so you can only anticipate that the other two are smashing out generators, which just lead us towards the Tycon at the moment. Sen getting his proc to do the unhook at second stage remaining, but unfortunately with the rule set not going to be able to utilize it, and now A71's just going to confirm this step. So playing really defensive like this is going to allow for those two generators in the background to proc. Maybe he might catch one out at the very last second, who really knows. But it's just turned this game into a 3v1 at what potentially could be 1 to 2 gens remaining. And, if it's 2 gens remaining, we are at the win con still. But if it's 1 gen remaining, we're at the tie con, and it can look very well in the favor of a tie. But looking at our gen spread at the moment, we do have one at 3 that is being worked on. I didn't manage to get all the other gen info, but nevertheless going to be taking the chase onto Key. He's going to opt to go for something a little bit unorthodox. He's got one pallet over at this 4 side of the map, just going to be pre-dropping that, seeing what he can pull out of the hat at the moment. He doesn't really have much to work with. We know the pallet gym is thrown. We know there's no edge map fillers. He's just got a whole bunch of trash here to try and jiggy around, and he's going to be doing accordingly. A71's going to be just dropping that chase as soon as he can, going to go for the generator patrol. We're going to be seeing Stract in his happy hat going all the way down to 10, and now we're going to opt to chase Stract, and we do see the generator with from Baki over in the background being worked on. We're going to opt to slug Stract now. Another thing to note is, was Sen our no-mither, or was there a no-mither at all, Jams?
No, there was no mither at all. I was just about to say as well. Yeah, I think it was still letting. I think letting Sen die there is quite an interesting decision. I still think it's worth sending Unbreak in there to at least trade there. I know it's the Hillbilly, but that's I guess the pleasure you give yourself running no mother Unbreak on 2 separate builds, of course. So obviously having to let Sen die there, kind of a bit annoying for them, I would assume, but they back themselves into the 3v1 on the gen pressure. Sen being DS probably isn't that big of an issue, considering they do quite have a lot of pressure to back it up. But yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't know. Zetsubou have a really cool dynamic, having half an OC team and half Prime Source. But A7 they're just gonna flick around that sim car, and Baki's just gonna try and stick the gen, and Baki's going stealthing in the basement, and this might just be a tie console.
He knows someone's around this shack at the moment. He's trying to sniff them out. If he goes into the basement, it is GG, game over. Actually, I retract my statement. He is Delhi in the basement at the moment, and I do not believe Baki has been hooked yet. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this pans out. If he gets found and he gets hooked, he could just Delhi and maybe pull something out of the hat, but I don't think A71 will really allow that. Just trying to sniff him out now, still at the shack side, not really checking the basement. He's more concerned about what can be edge map here. Now, an important thing to note is if Key bleeds out, A71 loses this. If Baki bleeds out, A71 loses this. So he has something to lose in terms of WinCon, TieCon, and everything. So it's still not really over. We can't really narrow this down to a tie. We have to really consider what can be and what the possibilities are. We're going to be opting to check lockers, and we still have not checked the basement, which is the most obvious place to be. And Baki knows it. Baki's just running around in circles next to the lockers and stuff. And A71 is just more concerned about what could be on the edge map. Let me tell you something. Let me let you in on something, buddy. Nothing's around the edge map, and we all know it, unfortunately. This is the very painful thing on being a spectator in these kind of scenarios, is that you know where everybody is, but A71 doesn't, and he has to play like he just has to play really safe in all aspects. Now just trying to really sniff out Baki. He knows Baki is somewhere, but Baki just is doing circles in the basement. If we can get us... Key is half on his timer as well, so it'd be really interesting to note where he's crawled off to. I do believe that is all the way over down at corner of one side at the moment, so if he bleeds out, it doesn't matter. A71 will lose this game. This is actually really close. We know Stract is on the verge of bleeding out, but that doesn't matter because Stract has been hooked at least once. A71 bamming this shack window and going to be opting to maybe check basement now. No, I lied. I'm joking. I am bold. He is utilizing his chainsaw to go all the way down, and he's completely lost Key now. So now I think he's going to go to try to find where Key is. He knows he's played a little bit too aggressive in this regard. Key has a little bit of a crow around him happening. I'm not too sure what this is all about. A71 just opting to go more towards the central side of the map. He knows where where Stract is, but it doesn't matter if Stract bleeds out, buddy. He's going all the way back down to Shaq, and maybe now he'll check the basement, and I'll eat my words. He's definitely going to check the basement now. No, I'm joking. He's just sticking around the middle side of the map. Jarms, I'm getting really, really antsy at the moment. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm nervous. Can you? What do you reckon? What do you reckon? Can you give me some insight, some thought? What are you thinking? What are you feeling, man?
Probably worth going to look for Key. I mean, it would have been worth going to look for Key about 2 minutes ago. I can't lie. You gotta just hope the gen's low enough to where you can commit and go, sort of find Key up. Because yeah, as you said, if soon as Key bleeds out, that's just Zetsubou winning. Which is a bit shit, but you know that's the rules. This is why you don't slug. And from the way A7's playing, I fear he doesn't know that. Although he is venturing all the way to 1 now. He's leaving it god-awfully late, I will admit. Hoping that he can just fight. Oh my friggin' god, he's just soared right on top of him. And he's just found him. He's just found him like that.
So he knew all along.
Cheater.
No, I mean, like, in all honesty, he would have had to assume that's where Key would have been, is as far away from that generator as possible. Now, Becky going to be playing for the unhook. This is going to be really long and really hard to pull off if you're the survivor side. Becky somehow needs to get Key off the hook, and Key somehow needs to bleed out. Now, A71's opted to go all the way back down to Shaq's side. If Becky can pick up on this quick enough and get the unhook in time, then we can work with something. But no, he is still a little too far away from the hook at the moment. Now, Becky is also fresh. Now, if Becky can get a hatch or get a gate play, they win. This is essentially what you have to really go for at the moment. And taking a look at our gates here, one being at 3, one being at 12, that is just really not possible, especially with the hook right smack bang in the middle over at 1. Now, even if the gates were fairly spread apart, Billy has his chainsaw. You're not making it out of a gate unless, you know, something's going horribly wrong or there's just a lot of trash in the Billy's way. Nevertheless, Backy's still rotating all the way back down to the top side of the map to see if he can pull Key, but I don't think A71's going to really allow it to happen, and I think we will be going to the tiebreaker, all things considered. Jarms, we're going to be here all night. I hope you know that.
It might be letting Worth Key go all the way to the end of his second stage. Pulling last second, assuming A7 goes cross map, which he is. I'd still let him sit for a bit. Really interesting.
He's got deli.
Yeah.
Get out of this if he.
Oh. Yeah, he's got the deli. I think it would be worth letting Key sit all the way to the end of his stage there. Hopefully, Key makes it all the way to Shaq, and then it kind of puts A7 in this kind of peculiar position where, I mean, if he does down Key and hook him. If we do this, I mean, I already ate my words anyway. Key's already been found, so it doesn't make a difference. Assuming Key doesn't make Shaq from here, and that WA ping coming in strong to form, so that'll just be the hook onto Key. But I guess A7's still in a bit of a peculiar position as we run past the bro's dead body. That was pretty crack up.
Yeah, well, the only thing that Becky can really do at the moment is either go for the hatch or go for a gate. The gates are very close together, and the hatch, well, if Key gets hooked right next to here, which he does, you know, it's just going to be the hatch closed. He's not going to battle for the hatch. He's going to battle for a gate. I don't think he knows where the gates are. Otherwise, he wouldn't really be playing like this. This is really interesting to be thinking about nevertheless. But, you know, even if Becky does manage to die to the timer here, it still results in all stages, so realistically, this is just like a waste of time, essentially. But nevertheless, we're going to try and opt to go for a gate. Becky is going to go for 3. This is going to be really hard to pull off because we have line of sight on both doors. We have a nice view on both doors. I mean, as soon as he sees that one light over at 3 happening, he's just going to go all the way there, and it's just going to be the 4K1 secured for the side of our killer here. And he's seen him already. He's already knows he's over there, so as we go into this last chase of the trial, which if we can find Becky at the moment, we will. He's going to go for a little bit of a sprint burst, and now I think we're just going to maybe go to the next game as quickly as possible. No, what are we doing here? Surely we just go to the next game. So, like we said before, my Jarms and myself and the streamer and the ref, Gohan and Tavi, will be going to the next And welcome back, everyone, to a replay of the pig set. I lied, it wasn't Billy, because we tied the pig set as well, which is Melatonin's pick, so they have a very high likeliness of winning this. At the same time, from what we had seen, there is also the chance that Zetsubou pull it back and win it in their regard, because it is currently a 1-0 score at the moment in favor of Zetsubou. So, for the side of Melatonin, who will be playing Killer first, as per usual with how these things go, it'll be Nortor. Now, Zetsubou's survival lineup will be the exact same as the last pig set. It will be Sanji, Gestrix, X-Tap, and Strap, which just leads me to believe that it will be X-Tap on the pig again. Never. Nevertheless, sorry. Going into the pig set, we were seeing Nortor spawn up. I believe this is top 8, and I'm rotating the top 6. Going to be seeing if we can spot anybody out. We'll bring the same build with the same add-ons. Some very, very enforcing early game pressure. Now, the Undying going straight away. Not always the best thing to be happening, but nevertheless, going to be chasing Sanji now is Nortor, who's going to be running all the way down to God 11. And now, are they going to go for a little bit of the same game plan that they did last time, or are they going to opt to go for something a little bit different? Are they going to try to get their hats off as soon as possible as opposed to facilitating for gen pressure? Nevertheless, taking a tag is Sanji, who's going to be dropping down the hole and running all the way down to this bottom 11 side. Going to be maybe utilizing this God filler, like this God pallet, sorry, pre-dropping that and running all the way back up, and he can just make incredibly large amounts of distance considering this is the pig, not Dredge. He cannot teleport past the pallet. Nevertheless, dropping this pallet over at top 10 now is Sanji, who is still going on an absolutely wild goose chase at the moment. He does have top 8 to be working with, but he's just opted to go for a little bit of a... Okay, so a proc hit coming in from Stract, very interesting at the moment. Pre-dropping this cracker, and we're just going to pick up where we left off in the chase, and now these free tags are just coming in. We know that maybe there's only one person on generators, or one person trying to get their hats off. It was X-Tap in the background trying to get his hat off, so there is no gen pressure on the board, so we've opted to go for a little bit more of a defensive play at this point in time. Nortor continuing on the chase over to Bill, who will be running around this 5 God pallet at the moment, and he's just going to be going down because he does not make that. He has not calculated his distance very well in that regard. Nevertheless, being picked up, going to be going on the hook as soon as possible, the basement hook rather. So this is very dire for us. Obviously, and we know that maybe X-Tap is going to start to 99 those generators at the moment. Probably the smart thing to do. Sanji and Gestrix probably opt to maybe go for a reset, or maybe even get their hats off in the process. But who is going to save Stract? That is yet to be known. Nortor now in stealth mode, so there is the reset happening in the background. If we can get a quick switcheroo to maybe our Survivor and Chase, or where they are at the moment. We do see Ace, which is X-Tap, leaving that courtyard generator. Bill still in the basement. We do have Nicolas Cage all the way over at bottom 3, and we do have Gestrix over... Gestrix is bottom 3. Nicolas Cage was also was bottom 3. Pre-dropping this pallet now, not able to get his hat off in time. Gonna opt to go around this pallet and maybe utilize the God window. And there is a generator being worked on quite it was top 3 now. Okay, I'm mistaken. Anyway, we're just gonna be dropping that pallet, getting slapped beneath it, unfortunately, and running away. The cleanse onto the ruin as well, and maybe we're just going to opt to go for this chase onto X-Tap jumps.
Yeah, the Penti hasn't been active yet in the game, which is pretty interesting considering ruin was up. Sorry, not pretty interesting, pretty standard since the ruin was up. X-Tap Stract hasn't been pulled. I was going to allude to the fact that I think saw some more than Zetsubou more than capable of letting Stract go second, maybe getting some pressure, removing some head traps. They're gonna have to reset now. Now the only healthy person is into Chase. He does make this filler though, I believe, and quite an interesting technique from Nortor here. Gonna choose to pop the Pentimento as well. Pretty early into this game, and I wonder if X-Tap is going down to trade, which is a very interesting decision. I think this next chase from Strack sort of has to be like big, very, very big.
Yeah, definitely. And now the chase on to Stract. What are the others doing in the background? Who knows? But we just know we are just going to be able to continuing on this chase on to Bill. We do see that Renato is pumping the generators away, probably going to be 99ing that. Remember, there are still 3 survivors in the trial with their hats on. So it's proven to be a little bit difficult at the moment with considering how close the boxes are, how close the survivors are to the killer in that regard, getting their hats off. Nevertheless, going to be taking the chase back onto Bill, who will be pre-dropping this bottom 11 pallet and now playing it accordingly, vaulting it, playing the check spots. Can he make do? No. Unfortunately, getting hit over the pallet, and that's not even ping. That's just really well calculated by Nortor, now being able to pick up Bill in the process, the first generator in the background. Procking, they know they need gen pressure now. It's just unfortunate with the way this pans out with the build that's in hand at the moment. It's a lot of early game pressure, and if your RNG with getting your hats off is just slim to none, then it's going to make for a very, very rough late game. And we do see the first survivor of the trial go Peepo by. So, you know, all things considered, three hooks on the board. It's the 3v1 at 4 generators remaining. 2 survivors have active traps on their heads. This is looking really dire for our survivors, and I do say that Nortor is in complete control at the moment. He's just scouring the map now to see if he can find anybody just roaming around, and he hears someone over at the 6 side. He's just going to get hit over that vault. That is just crazy that he even allowed that to happen, Jones.
Yeah, it looks like Nortor has really horseshit net as well, to be fair. But yeah, no, well, he's playing very well. Very well. Fuck, it could just be 4K3, I won't even lie. Like, he's got Pensy up right now. There's not really much going for any of the survivors. You know, Gedstrix is running around trying to get the head trap off, sort of like a goose. He can't really do anything. XF's gonna have to rotate in for probably the pool. He's gonna enter chase actually, and he's gonna be dead. So my God, I don't know what to say. Either Noto's the best player in the world, or no, that's just it. Just Noto's the best player in the world.
It's a combination of the play style that this pig set provides. It being Melatonin's pick, you would expect them to be really good. And then it's just misplay on the side of Zetsubou at the moment. You know, as we saw with that pallet over at bottom 10, I do believe. Oh, the vault coming in, and we're going to take chase onto Sanji. But that's going back to what I was saying before, just like, you know, he gave up pallet possession so easily, and it just allowed him to be flicked. It just like, you know, he couldn't even put up a fight at that point. Once he saw like the pig just go into crouch mode, it's just a 50-50, and he loses it. So, you know, it's just positions like that that you can really just afford to be in better positions to just not allow those things to happen. Now, getting that trap off last second is Gedstrix. We have X-Tap and Sanji on the floor. We have Nortor, who kind of knows where that trap, where Gedstrix would have happened to get his trap off. Now, we have spotted the scratch marks. We are able to get the pickup onto X-Tap. No, I lied. So now this is just looking like a 4K4. This is just not good. Like, I hate to put it into retrospect for everyone, but like, this is just unfortunate for the side of Zetsubou. They could be playing a lot better. We do see the pickup. I do believe he got the pickup to X-Tap now, being able to retrieve somewhat of what pieces are left from this game. Now, Gedstrix, you know, he's doing his work. You know, he's doing what he needs to do. Essentially, I'm not too sure what X-Tap's doing, bro. Why are we just like kind of, you know, why are we tailing who's in chase? Wait, Sanji's up.
Yeah, we were trying to pick Sanji off the ground there. Oh, yeah, bro, I don't know. Like, it's kind of, I don't know. I don't want to use the word embarrassing, but he's kind of just like fiddling with them. I'll be completely honest. Yeah, I don't know. It's just poor as well. Like, it just doesn't really look like they are trying, or either they are and Nortor is just the best. Yeah, again, just a little bit disappointing to see, but not to take anything away from Nortor, he's just playing crazy. Like, obviously has perfected the pig macro really well. Obviously, he dominated last set as well, or the set they tied actually. A set that I argue probably should have already won. It's hard because he didn't play Survivor, so only really his Survivors to blame. But they should be really grateful that he's performing even better than what he did in that first set, because I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if Melatonin do win this, we will be going into that Billy tiebreaker set again. So maybe if you're in OCE, be ready to be here till maybe 2 AM if Melatonin win this set. I won't even cap.
Let's run it back, boys. Let's run it back, but it's not over until it's over. So we see Nortor take the hook onto Sanji at the moment. It is a 4K4 looking pretty close to it with no gen pressure on the board. Survivors at least have their traps off. So we can pull this back to like a 4K2. I do have faith in the boys' capabilities of doing so. There is a little bit, there's some resources still on the map. Everybody has their hats off, so all of that early game pressure is gone. We just, at this point in time now, you just cannot afford to lose those 50s. You need to be taking chase to absolutely safe spots on the map, and you cannot afford to be giving free tags or be injured in the process if you are to win this. You need to be taking chase also away from the generators. Sorry, the active generators rather. Now we're pre-dropping this pallet and going to be playing around it accordingly is X-Tap, and this is exactly what you need, but that is not what you need. That is a tag, okay? I won't say it's a free tag because it's just quite unfortunate that it did look like a little bit of ping was involved there, but nevertheless, he will be going down fairly early, and this is just not exactly what you need at this point in time if you are to pull this back on the side of Zetsubou.
They still have the Pentimento up as well, so yeah, I'm not too sure what they. I think they're just sort of in shambles. I hate to be that guy, but yeah, nah, not so, bro. Like, round of applause. Like, this guy is playing crazy on the pig. What an idol for all the young pig mains out there in the world. We do see a bloke on the Pentimento. Hate to get that guy again, but maybe too little, too late. As we do see Gestrix getting into chase here, this is not going to result in a tag just yet. Perhaps it may. No, we're going to choose to break, and Gestrix should be able to break away. So, honestly, longest chase we've had so far without a tag, resulting in a tag. So, well done to Gestrix in that regard. On the other hand, though, I think with the amount of gen pressure that they have right now, it is just going to be 4K3. The Penti's gone, which is good. But yeah, 4K3, I don't see it getting anything better. If they do, I mean, well done, I guess.
An endurance status effect happening on the side of X-Tap. I'm not too sure what that was. Nevertheless, we're going to be taking chase onto Gestrix again, who will be utilizing this God window and this pallet that's already been thrown down. He was able to make it scot-free just beforehand. Now going to be caught at the filler pallet. Well, there's no pallet there, the filler loop, I guess, and utilizing the God loop one more time, running all the way down to bottom 2, now trying to use whatever resources are left on the map. I do believe there is a few upstairs here, like the top 2-1, and now he's going to have to do a little bit of pub juicing around this one room that we all know and love, and there is still one pallet drop down here, hasn't been broken, and just not playing the check spots accordingly, unfortunately, will spell the demise for Gestrix, who is just going to be going down at the moment. We do see Nicolas Cage all the way at top 10 just smashing out that generator. So yeah, we're looking more towards a 4K3 at this point, with all things considered and how this game is panning out. And it's just really hard for the survivors to pull it back. It is a very slow game nevertheless as well. There's just, you know, when there's pressure, it just goes back into the repertoire of Nortor, who's just able to pull the game back into his favor. And it's just really, really hard for the survivors to pull anything back and pull anything out of the hat. All Sanji can really do now is just commit that generator over at the top 10 side. And, you know, Nortor realizing it and noticing that he heard it beforehand, just wasn't able to go for that generator at that point in time, has just decided to slug the second last survivor and just go all the way back to the generator. But very smart from Sanji to pick up on that. Some good comms from his teammates to be saying, hey, I'm not getting picked up. I'm just being slugged on the floor. You need to leave that generator and get me ASAP because I don't think the killer's around me. Now, taking this chase back onto Sanji, he's going to be looping around this bottom 12 side now with this filler pallet just dropped here. He's going to opt to go more towards the 11 side now. There's nothing in this room. And I dare say he's going to be going down fairly quickly unless he can make this pallet, which he doesn't because it's already thrown and he has to vault it. And he's just going to be caught out, going down. And we see the reset happening all the way at the top side of the map as well, which is, you know, is somewhat in our favor. We can still get one generator done. We're not opting to reset Gestrix at the moment, though, so maybe X-Tap is going to play a little bit more aggressive for the chase as he goes for this bottom 3 generator, and Gestrix just playing the top side of the map. So, in all honesty, even with that reset happening and us saying it can go to a 4K3, I just still see the 4K4 jumps, I can't lie.
That 2 gen's pretty decently progressed. Only one of them being able to work on. I'm not sure why we're running back into the killer. I'll be completely honest.
all things considered, Gedstrix is in a good spot of the map, I would say, right now. Assuming that the bro is on down. I think that's down. Yeah, this is either down 10 or he's on the other side of the map. I think he's down 10, unless he's down. Or is he up 3? No, is this up 10? I don't know what this is. But he's obviously not gone to the right gen. So this will be a 4K3, I think. But no, you were right, Buller. It did look a bit detrimental there at one point. Nortor. Okay, fair enough. Trying to go up to the 3rd floor of Midwich Elementary. I'm not sure when they added that, but yeah, no, it was really good from all the bros. I won't say all the bros. I'll say the bro. I'm just still a little bit gobsmacked. I won't lie. I don't even think the build's that oppressive. They do pop that for that 4K3. So kudos to XTAP and Gastrix for sticking it out and getting that done. But yeah, I never really think the build's that oppressive. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. I just don't think the start was. I don't know. Like we just bodied when we still had like all the gold fillers and the bros just didn't make the fillers. Like I don't know. It's pretty common game plan. You know, you run 11, you run 5, run 8 if you can. Then you just go play the windows upstairs or downstairs wherever they may spawn. But yeah, fuck, what a crack from Melatonin. At least they want to win, bro. Like, that's one thing that's keeping me alive is the fact that they want to win really badly. And if they really want to win that badly, then I guess I'm all for it.
Yeah, definitely. They're just playing to the very end, trying to pull it back in their favor. Keep in mind, this is their pick, so they were anticipated to win their pick, but nevertheless, they're going to be taking chase all the way back onto Gestrix. Now, we need XTAP just sitting the generator over in the background, and we need Gestrix to do God's holy work at the moment. Now, everything's thrown and everything is broken. Just, we had so much early pressure with that add-on, and just, you know, I think they tried to play a little bit more safe in that regard at the start of the match, and he's just going to get hit through the pallet with ping. That's just unfortunate for Gestrix. But yeah, they tried playing a little bit more defensive in the start of the game, so it kind of set them back a little bit. And if you're going to play that kind of play style, you need to be lasting a lot longer in chase than what we had seen this game, unfortunately. And just like the mid to late game at the moment has been played really well, has been played out really well by XTAP and Gestrix, but they can't carry this all by themselves. They needed the help of Stract and Sanji, and just with them out of the game so early, it just wasn't able to be done. Nortor is just... And all things considered, Nortor is very good on the pig, and he's capitalizing on all of the mistakes made by Zetsubou, and he's taken the very slow and methodical approach to how this game is going to pan out. But nevertheless, we see XTAP get that unhook onto Gestrix. Gestrix going to be taking the body block for XTAP, and I just think we're just going to block the window and just opt to go for Gestrix, even though the endurance effect is gone, the haste effect is gone. He's just going down. He's being slugged, and now we're just going to opt to go for XTAP. We're not risking anybody getting hatched today, and I think that XTAP has been hooked. Yeah, so like everyone's been hooked. Everybody's fresh. So regardless of how they died, all stages will be given all to Nortor. The only way that they wouldn't be is if somebody were to miraculously escape through the hatch or a door, but Nortor's just not going to allow that to happen. He's going to play for the 4K. He's going to be getting a Gestrix out of that locker as soon as possible and running all the way back down to 5. And it is a 4K3, like you said, man. In all honesty, like it was definitely a good prediction by you for sure, because I expected it to be a 4K4. Nevertheless, going to be taking this final Mori onto Gestrix, and while that happens, we'll be getting the last game of this set, hopefully set up for you guys. So it is, to recap for you guys, a 4K3 Tycon, a 4K4 win con for the Killer, and a 4K2 win con for the Survivor.
Nortor, Syzygy, and Jarms. Remember those 3 names, probably the best 3 pigmains you'll ever see in OSL competing. On a side note though, 4K3, cracking result. Cracking result. For the OCE viewers, please bear with us. I know it's late, but I think we should all consider that Melatonin is actually putting up quite a solid fight. And all things considered, if we do go to the Billy set, which, Jesus, if the bro does 4K3 X tap, I mean, probably laugh a little bit, but in terms of burn. But honestly, Bullet, I think probably the smartest Gohan ball moment, saying the survivors probably just stick to gens, which I think is true. They should just stick to gens and not really care about their traps.
Yeah, definitely. With a win come like this, they're just gonna push 3 generators and bam, they're out. You know what I'm saying? It's just an X tap on the side of X tap. What are you gonna do if you're gonna win this? Well, you gotta play aggressive. You gotta slug. You gotta play for tags. You can't really opt to overcommit anything. Naturally as you do when you're fighting for a really unreasonable win con. But nevertheless, X tap struggling to find someone right off the bat. We do see some gen pressure over in the background, and like clockwork, like you said, Ben, it's exactly what is happening at this point in time. We steal the stealth out from A71. We see that the Renato's grips is working this generator over at the corner 8 side of the map now, opting to take chase over this is it bottom? Is this? I think this is bottom 9. Okay, it's either bottom 9 or bottom 3, but I'm gonna have to take chase around this little really weird pallet loop, whatever you want to call this, but he's just going to run to the other classroom and opt to go for maybe the god pallet, yes, and just pre-dropping that, and kind of like a little bit of a waste, but maybe if he didn't throw it, we would have opted to chase him. X-Tap just kind of scouring the map to see what there is around him, if there's anybody working a generator as he takes his tag onto grips. I don't think he really wants to commit this. He's going to opt to play a little bit more aggressive on his generators, but he's not going to make the first generator. That's going to pop right in front of his face if he is going all the way to 3 in 3, 2, 1. I was joking, okay? That's not the right generator, number 1. And number 2, we're 99ing the generators and we're going to try and get our hats off potentially. So the ruin taken into effect over, I do believe that was the top. It's definitely the top of the map, but I'm getting a little bit disoriented with how quick we're moving. So we're gonna X-Tap is just gonna opt to go up to the top side of this top 5, top 4, and try to catch this survivor off guard in stealth mode. At the moment, we do see the generator behind us. That is top 3 hallway in progress. Just regressing at the moment. We're not able to find the ruin and break it in time at the moment. So 99ing the generators when there's ruin active, and I do believe ruin was that top. Oh, well, we have a top 11 totem and a top 9 totem, so regardless, we're going to be taking chase onto Nortor, kind of losing my train of thought here, just vaulting this pallet and then just unfortunately getting caught out and going down, and we're slugging again. X-Tap playing really aggressive amongst his generators at the moment, with Ruin still in effect, with I'm not too sure if Undying still in effect. I do believe it is. He's able to apply so much early game pressure, having somebody down and just slugged and just to go for these other tags. And if the survivors are allowing it like they are at the moment, it's going to prove to be pretty difficult in their mid-game scenario. So they might not even get these generator procs in them at this point in time. So we see the pickup at Nortor come in the background, and as a result of it, we have 3 survivors injured at the moment. So now going back into stealth is X-Tap, and he's going to opt to go for something a little bit more in his favor. If he finds grips, not really the best thing in the world, but on the contrary, if he finds any of our injured survivors at the moment who will not be resetting, oh my god, Sloppy Butcher is just tanking at the moment. Holy, what do you think, Jams? What do you think's the next play in terms of the kill and in terms of the survivor? What would you do?
If you're the survivor, I don't know. It's kind of still at a point where you can just sit the gens pretty aggressively. I don't know. I think the killer builds are locked, if I'm not mistaken. So with that being said, the base build he has right now actually isn't too bad. The Sloppy Butcher is probably not the greatest pick considering the win con. Plus, I don't even really think they'll reset. That is the first gen pop in. So we are at the win con. Never mind, we are at the Tarkon. So that is everyone's head traps are red now. The play from this point on for the killer is honestly probably the same approach Nortor took in the 3v1. I think you just get sluggy. God 7 being used right now. That's all 3 of the God. Actually, no, God 5 hasn't even been used yet. So I think you just gotta get a bit sluggy. There's 2 injuries. I probably would have committed the Sable there. I don't think they have a lot of gen pressure. If they do, I'm mistaken. As we see Nortor running just directly into the killer. And the white gens do the whiteness on the gen, the white aura is a sign of either gen regressing, if I'm not mistaken. So pretty freely can commit this onto A7. But no, honestly, I don't see an issue popping one more gen, regardless of what's happened here. We're gonna win a 50, which is quite big actually. I do believe since
I haven't seen either survivor get reset. What the fuck are we up to, bro? Okay, Lizzie's healthy.
No, there's no way this man just big balled it and said, nah, I'm getting this trap off today. Taking note that everybody is injured at the moment, so as we try and get everybody else's trap off, I think Grips can just kind of sit a generator in the background and try to push for that win con. We do have top 12 and bottom 10 and courtyard, and I do believe that was bottom 3 at disposal, so we're looking at a little bit of a 4-gen scenario over on this side, and I do think there would have been one over at the 5 side. Don't know if that was top or bottom. It is bottom 5, so definitely still doable by the survivors. I personally would press 3 and 5. Sorry, 10 and 5, not 3 and 5. We're gonna opt to take this chase onto A71, I do believe, after the slug onto Grips on the floor, but no, being able to run around and maybe go for a little bit of a reset or try to get his hat off in this point in time. Nortor's is going to take chase over towards the house and try to build X-Tap a house, but I don't think that'll be happening anytime soon. Maybe it is, maybe I'm lying, so I'm going to be vaulting this pallet playing check spots. No, we're going to try and dump you away, and it's going to work in our favor because X-Tap anticipated the back vault, but didn't quite happen in his favor. Now taking chase back onto Nortor, who's going to be utilizing this 12 pallet and playing the fakes accordingly, playing really well and just going down in the process, vaulting into the loving embrace of X-Tap, and he's just gonna get sluggy with it, like you said. He's gonna opt to go for this tie. This is look, I hate to say this, but this is also looking like a tie. I can't lie. I mean, 3 survivors injured on the board. Nortor slugged. Not really much generator progress at the moment. This is looking dire.
Oh my.
Oh my.
So.
Oh me. Oh my.
07's dead, you got a bloke slug now. It gets a bit more realistic where it could actually be a tie again. God, Grips just needs to sit on a gen. Like, they just need to sit on gens. I can't lie. Like, I don't know why we're meeting up for the reset. Unless the slug's there, which would make a bit of sense. The fact that they're letting X-Tap actually do this is actually quite, again, embarrassing, I would say. Both survivor sides playing really, really shit tonight. At least on the pig set. Maybe it's a flaw in the balancing. Maybe it's a flaw in the teams. Maybe it's both. I'm not too sure. But overall, nah, it's kind of I don't know if humorous is the right word to see a bunch of pig stompings. Pig the 4K killer, I guess.
It's the same kind of scenario we had with Wraith on DDS, but in all honesty, this is kind of different. So the early game pressure is just insane with the play styles that we're going for here, and I just think the survivors just aren't really able to capitalize on that early game pressure that the killer is just putting forward. You know, once we get to where the hats are all off and there's 4-3 generators remaining in the trial, everything just goes down straight down the pishadu, you know what I'm saying? So it's really unfortunate to see, because you want to see some long chases, you want to see all the traps off as soon as possible. Maybe the RNG just also playing a part in this, just not being able to get the traps off at the start. So nevertheless, X-Tap also capitalizing on the mistakes of the survivors. I dare say this is looking like a tie at the moment. So, you know, we are heading more toward... If we tie this set, we are still going to the Hillbilly set. And if we tie that set, God forbid, we will be going back to the Pig set. So it's a bit of back and forth at the moment. So we never really know what is to happen. But we can only pray that the survivors get a generator done in this point in time, because we still do want to see a really good game put by both of them. Nortor just kind of being a little bit caught out in this position here over at 10, trying to play around this filler palette, faking it very nicely, but still has the potential to go down, and X-Tap just W-keying it. Is he able to make this hit? And yes, he is. Nortor not being able to vault the palette in time, unfortunately, and now we're going to get sluggy with it once more. Grips and Ripe still in the trial. What is happening right now? They splitting gens. What is happening as we see X-Tap go all the way back down to 3? I just don't really know what you can really do as the survivors here. They are opting to go for a little bit of a reset over at those stairs. I do believe that was over at 5. Now opting to take this hook onto Nortor. And just to note on your on what you said earlier, Joms, is it a fault of the balancing? Not necessarily. At the same time, I just feel like everybody in the region needs to learn how this is played out at the beginning of the pig set, if they are to bring these add-ons in, because these will be the most popular add-ons, let's face it, real talk. That being said, yeah, you could do without these add-ons and have a much better peak game. You know, it is kind of the pressure at the early game is just immense from what we have been seeing in these sets, and I can't lie, it just hasn't really been pleasant to watch, unfortunately. But that being said, it just promotes a very slow game that just doesn't really go anywhere. And as we see Ripe throw down the pallet and just not really play the chase correctly, we are going to be seeing them go down. I'm not too sure what the procs in the background were. What was that? What were the procs in the background? We saw the instinct that when, sorry, Ripe went down. What was that, Joms?
I'm not actually. Are you talking about the aura?
Nah, like the the red thingy when like if you blow up a generator or something. Or am I delusional?
I'm not actually too sure, bro. I did not notice that, but no, just touching up on what you were saying before. Yeah, no, it's a pretty interesting. I guess you'd say interesting approach at the start. It's pretty much the same way you play every set on Midwich. I can't lie. As we see a Nortor forcing the locker there up top 12. But yes, no, it's pretty much the same as any set, any Midwich set. Whether you have Dredge on Midwich, Pig on Midwich, Wraith on Midwich, you just always go for the God fillers, comb the God windows. By God windows, I just mean the windows that spawn either top 9, top 3, bottom 9. You know what I mean? Top and bottom 9, top and bottom 3. Yeah, I don't really understand the complexity of the set, but I don't know. I guess I'm not really a hard killer main, Hearties killer main. I think Xtap is pretty much showing the potential of what you can do if you play the pig properly. Because realistically, this is just, no matter how you look at it and carve it up, it's still just a crazy result. And touching on Nortor real quick as well. Oh my god. Touching up on Nortor as well before as well. That's again, to do that so consistently in 2 games, back to back, and then XApp to match that. I don't know. It just begs the question, I suppose.
Definitely. And now with Ripe back on the ground and the reset happening back at bottom 8, what can we pull out of the hat on this? Oh, sorry, top 8. What can we pull out of the hat if you are the survivor side? Both survivors healthy now. Do we have enough gen pressure split? So we have 5 and we have 10. I think those are the generators we need to be splitting in order to meet this win con, and it is completely doable. If we can get Ripe healthy as well, and not have anybody else in the trial being found at this point in time, this is definitely still doable, even though it's been quite a lengthy game. I do believe those scratch marks were leading into basement. If we can get a quick switch around to where the survivors had headed, I don't think they went upstairs. Okay, we are completely missing the memo. Unfortunately, Xtap is going to allow this reset to be happening at 3. That actually might be pretty game-changing at the moment, because if he was able to capitalize on that reset, oh, God knows what would have happened. Now, the Sloppy Butcher is making that heal really, really difficult at the moment. Grips has opted to leave his generator on pre-leave, as we don't have eyes on the killer, which is very smart and methodical. Also, a very, very slow game at the moment, and we're just going to opt to try and see if we can catch anybody out on our Gen Patrol here on the side of Xtap, and he knows there's nobody over at 10 working anything, as we did see that it was Grips up at 10, top 10 stealthing, and now we're going to opt to go all the way down to the bottom 5 side, catching out what seems to be Nortor and Ripe in the process. No God pallet to be worked here. We're going to be taking that quick tag after such a long reset onto Ripe, and now we're going to maybe commit this chase or opt to leave. I'm not too sure. No, we're committing the chase. We're faking the leave. Ripe just has to kind of make distance in this regard, but no, we're opting to play the slow and painful tag and leave game. We're going to opt to go back onto Gen Patrol, and we do spot out Grips on this generator. He's going to be taking a tag as well, and he's going to be running as far away from the generator as possible. I can only assume that Nortor will be working that 5 generator now. Both survivors being tagged and being able to stay in the game as soon as as long as possible now, opting to go for more of a reset. Nortor is going to be leaving this generator. Ruin's still in the game. This is really unfortunate for us survivors not to be able to find Ruin. So, you know, all things considered, with like survivors off of generators like being ping pongs being hit as well, and Ruin's still in effect, it's just taking an absolute toll on this game for the survivor side. They're not able to do anything. X-Tap playing really slow, and just knowing what he needs to do. He's actually playing really well if you take into account all things considered, even though you really want the survivors to be pushing for this win con, seeming like it's so reasonable. X-Tap is just capitalizing on all the mistakes and just playing the way he needs to. So all props to him at this point in time. He definitely can still capitalize if he is maybe to down somebody, you know, maybe down 2 people in the process and go for the last chase, or even just hook somebody at the moment. Who knows? But Nortor is going to be taking chase over at this top 3 side now, utilizing this really godforsaken shit pallet, and now just throwing it in X-Tap's face. Is he going to commit this? And he is. Nortor is just going to opt to W away all the way back to the top side of the map, and X-Tap's just not going to have any of it. Once again, playing that tag and leave, and this survivor's just going to play the healing game again, maybe doubling this generator over at bottom 10, which seems to be a very interesting decision, considering that I'm not too sure why we've done that, since the best course of action, at least in my opinion, is to split the gen pressure. Nevertheless, we'll be taking the tag onto Ripe, who will be injured once more. Nortor also injured in grips, being able to pre-leave this generator around this filler pallet now and just fake it out, vault it in the right spots, the right time. He's not getting tagged, thank the Lord. And now we're going to be breaking this pallet, and everything's broken. Like, a lot of things are broken on the map. There's not really a lot for these survivors to be working with now. So if X-Tap can capitalize on these tags, it'll be really troublesome for our survivor team, definitely. So at the moment, we're at a really big stalemate in our game. Not really much happening at the moment. Just a bunch of gen patrol, a bunch of tags, a bunch of leaving. I think maybe X-Tap has to commit to something. He's going to lose his kicks at the moment. He has kicked the generators a fair few times. I'm not too sure how many kicks he has left on per generator. That one at 5 should have a few on it. But that one at 10, that's right. He has Ruin.
Yeah, cheeky bugger.
I take back everything I just said. Okay, so I've like cooked up in my mind that every time there's regression, that he's kicked the gen, and he hasn't. It's just been Ruin. You're right.
Whoa, excuse me. Yeah, I don't think. I don't know. The Ruin's just meta. On any indoor set, I think.
Well, if you don't break it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, no, that's what I guess that's, yeah, what I'm insinuating. I guess I think at the end of the day, oh my god, a couple of 50s being won from the bow groups there, but we are not going to win that vault over. So maybe there is a bit of ping disparity amongst the 2 teams, more than we may know. But yeah, I'm not too sure what's happening overall in terms of the slow game plan as we're walking in. Yeah, not too sure, Buller. Yeah, the slow approach is just really all they have to go for them. It's probably the best play, but yeah, no, I'm not too sure, Jay. I'm honestly not too sure.
Yeah, and we're gonna opt to stay around this generator over at the bottom 5 side of the map now, just leaving again, playing the tags and just going back on gens. And I think we need to find this Ruin. If it's still at top 11 and we're just not going to opt to go looking for it, I think we're going to try and power through it. We see Ripe just sitting that bottom 5, looking more towards the win con now, and X-Tap going the exact way he needs to spot out the survivor working this generator now. Nothing to be utilized in this area. Ripe is going to have a really rough time and going to be eating this M1, and we know Nortor isn't resetting, so everybody on the map injured once more. Can X-Tap capitalize on this scenario at the moment? We do see Ripe go all the way back down to the generator over at 10, and are they going to press it? Nortor getting caught out, unfortunately. Nothing to work with here, just a down pallet. He needs to fake this, and he does, but unfortunately getting hit. X-Tap reading it beautifully. He's going to play the slug game. He's going to get slug. He's going to go all the way to 10. Can we split the pressure in time? There is Survivors jumping right off those generators and going more towards the other side of the map. They're going to be running all the way down to 8. X-Tap trying to cut them off in the process. We see Grips trying to run out this window now, and we see that just somebody's just stuck here, which is Ripe. And are we going to be able to capitalize on Grips now, knowing that he's just going to be rotating for Nortor? Are we going to be able to cut him off all the way over at 3? We're not too sure at the moment if we can get a quick glimpse around what is happening over at the side of Nortor and Grips, and we do see the pickup onto Nortor and Grips running all the way down to 4, splitting up. Nortor just sticking around 3, nothing to really work with. We see the pallet over in 3 hallway, and again Nortor will just be going down, but forcing a grab. Okay, so very interesting, dropping in the locker, and yeah, I think this is going to be a drop, and we're just going to be back on the slug game. No, we're going to opt for the hook. Okay, so Nortor out of the game, 2 survivors left. This is looking pretty tired. This is just going to be another tie, and we're just going to be heading to the Billy set jumps.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit unlucky. In terms of, you know, my sleep schedule, your sleep schedule, sleep schedule, but no, like you said, Melatonin are really giving it a red hot crack, and I have to commend that. I really do. It makes me think. Yeah, I don't know. It does make me think. You know, I'm not too sure. The early game process maybe is a bit more complex than I did think in terms of the survivor side, but maybe the gen does pop. We might have spoken a little bit too early. We are going to get pushed off with Ruin, I think. X-Tap does rock up at the exact perfect time, and yeah, no, I'm not too sure. Maybe having such a the head game traps is, you know, a bit more detrimental than I thought. I swear when I play Pig on this map, I always get it off early goes, so I don't know. I swear people just are not maybe doing them as efficiently as they probably should be. I don't know. I actually don't know. It's quite an interesting dynamic to sort of sit back and watch. But no, yeah, it is a very long stream, but I cannot lie. So sorry if I do sound a bit tired.
No, yeah, definitely we're in for the long one, and I did say it, so, you know, we're just going to have to stick it out, unfortunately, and now taking this hook onto Grips and just going to be looking for Ripe. Now, all things, like, when you look at it into retrospect, okay, when you look at the way X-Tap is playing, he wants to win. He doesn't want to like let this game just slip out of his hands. At the very least, he just needs it to tie. And I think the game before, you know, the survivors definitely had to put up a better win con to be fought for, because this would have been a win ages ago. We would have been saying, yep, he's winning this. Yeah, it's going to be 2-0, but unfortunately, it just was not met from the survivors. But very good work for X-Tap to pull it back. You know, it was looking very likely that Melatonin was going to be winning this set, but now looking very dire for them, and I don't think they'll be capitalizing on this, and I think they will be just tying it again and going back to the Billy set. Unfortunately, we do see Ripe just stealthing around this hook and just not really making any grunts at the moment, just crouching, so maybe we're not going to be able to hear her out. Yeah, X-Tap just trying to really see this stealth out. Ripe just playing really well at the moment. If we can get a quick switch around to Ripe, I really want to see what the build was at the moment. So yeah, Iron Will was the reason why she wasn't making any sound, which makes sense because Sable was not a quiet survivor. Nevertheless, we will be taking the chase back onto Sable, which is Ripe, who will be going down at this bottom 8 side. Are we going to opt to slug and go for Grips, who will be just running all the way down 11 and trying to wrap around for the pickup? Or no, he's just going to commit. He's just got a big ball and commit 10. I can't lie. This is absolutely crazy at the moment. And now just going to opt to leave this generator nevertheless and run up the stairs. And we're in a little bit of problems here, team. So we see the scratch marks, and I do say this is heading more towards the end of the game now. We are not going to be seeing any more gen pressure. Grips is in chase. Ripe is ready to bleed out. It's although it's been long and it's been tiring, it has been a very good set to watch in terms of how close it was. As terms as expected results and such, not the best, unfortunately. But all things considered, very well capitalized and played out from the Killers. You have to give them props. You cannot take that away from them. They have played their hearts out, and so have the survivors to try and pull everything back into their favor. But nevertheless, as we take the final hook stages onto these survivors, we will be right back with you while we get the Billy matches set up for you once more. Once again, stay tuned. Who is going to take home the set? If Melatonin win, we're going back to this tiebreaker all the way back at Pig. So very interesting to watch. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a quick and short break. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back, everyone, to the Billy set, which will be another tiebreaker. Yes, you heard it correctly. We did tie the pig set, which was Melatonin's pick again for the second time tonight. Now, can Zetsubou take it home, or can Melatonin pull it back for their win to make it 1-1? So, just to keep you guys in the loop, if Melatonin win this, it'll be 1-1. So we'll be playing the pig set all over again. If Zetsubou win this, then then we won't be playing it at all. We'll just be ending stream. But if they tie again, we go back to the pig set once more and we run it back. Now, on the side of Killer, once again, it is Sen for Zetsubou. The survivors, you have A71 Grips, Painkiller, and Nortor, your goats from the last game, minus Priyu. I think Priyu was in place for Painkiller at that time. Nevertheless, we are going to be going into more recent events, and
Oh my
871 will be cross-mapped, and this is already looking extremely dire for our survivors, Jams.
Yeah, no, what an electrifying start. No, it was really well played from Melatonin last set and from X-Tap as well. Or should I say Nortor and X-Tap just in particular. Just wanted to clarify something. When I said I made a little bit of a comment saying it was a bit embarrassing to watch. I just meant in terms of the fact that it was an achievable win. I did not mean to disrespect any of the Melatonin boys at all by any means. So if I did, I do apologize for that. But I mean, we're just gonna get jiggied on right at the start anyway and just die. So yeah, I'm not too sure what the game plan is, Buller. So off the rip here, maybe just get cross mapped twice through our exhaustions. I'm not too sure. I've never seen that one in the book before.
Well, being said from the survivors, I just don't think they anticipated to be cross-mapped. But on the side of Sen, he just wants to play the Bougainville. I'll be honest with you. He just needs to go for those absolutely crazy chases, play absolutely aggressive. He knows he wants this game over and done with, and he knows he wants to apply the pressure accordingly. Now, going to be going more towards the 12 side, and we did see someone opt to go all the way down to 11, I do believe. We see the pickup onto Grips over in the background, and now pre-dropping the pallet is it was A71. Nevertheless, we're going to be going back onto A71, who will be pre-dropping that mid pallet, and now going to be taking chase more central into the map and going down, unfortunately, and that will spell the second stage onto A71 as the pickup happens. We do see the generator over in the background being worked over at 6, and we are just going to be interrupting that as we put the hook straight next to it. Hello, neighbor. Are we going to be able to push the survivors off the generators? And yes, that will be Painkiller just running all the way back down to the 3 side of the map. Is he going to be making this filler? And he is. Is he going to be able to survive it? Yes, he is. He's going to be able to get that reverse pallet stun onto Sen. Very nice work from Painkiller. Going to be leaving this chase and now going all the way back down to the hook and trying to get the tunnel out as soon as possible. Now back in chase with Grips, but we want A71. We want him out of the game as soon as possible. And now we'll be breaking this pallet over at 7, taking chase all the way into middle. And now mid has nothing left. I do think this is just going to be the straight M1 down with this pallet broken with nothing else to work. This will be A71 out of the game. Now keep in mind this is medkit, but I don't think that it was Deli like we did last game. We have the Deli on the Jake, who is on the Renato, rather. And now the DS coming in hot from A71 is going to allow him to make all the way down to the top side of the map, away from these generators. Utilizing the Sin car is Sen going to be trying to cut chase off from A71 and push him more towards the corner of the map. Now, can he down him at 11? A71 reading it really well and just unfortunately getting M1 at the pallet, and that will spell the death to A71 with 4 generators and potentially 3 generators remaining in the trial jams.
Yeah, that's a second hook onto A7, like you said. Oh, no, that's his death. Sorry, I apologize. So that is his death at 3 gens. So no, yeah, we're just really fancy the bros. You know, solid movement. Even on the Billy, just always got really nice movement to watch. Quite exhilarating, if you will. This Shack gen has like 60 on it, and Grips has been on it. This is a Deliverance player, so Deliverance and Deli is on the build, and really good curve around that gen there to get our boy Grips on the ground. And I think Sen just wants to wrap it up and send it home because he's playing pretty well right now. That's like 3 really nice chainsaws.
Just when you thought you were in the clear with the breakage of the line of sight, Sen just proves you wrong with the curve around those tiles over at 6. You love to see it if you're on the side of Zetsubou. Now Sen just going to be roaming around the side of the map to see if there's anybody just he can catch out from the cross map. And no, just does like a full circle and straight back to the hook over to where Grips is hooked now. Nortor going to be working the generators in the background. Painkiller just kind of stealth around, and I think he'll be the one that's going to opt to go for the save. I do think I saw someone over at 11 and Painkiller just over at 3. Yes, that is Nortor, who's just utilizing this trash filler, not being spot out by our killer here. Painkiller going to be utilizing the crouch tech and getting caught out of position, unfortunately, not in a very safe spot, getting M1 downed at the moment at this pallet over at 3, and this is looking very dire for us survivors at the moment. We do have 2 still up and running. Some gen pressure over at Shaq is going to be able to kind of pull the tides back, but nevertheless, going to be taking the hook onto Painkiller, now opting to go all the way back down to 11. We are scouting out this fun bus, not quite seeing anybody at the moment. If we can get a quick switcheroo to where Nortor had gone, and he is all the way back at fun bus. He had just bamboozled Sen at that point. Now Sen just going back all the way down to main and just trying to see who he can spot out, but we do know that there is Grips just absolutely slamming out that Shaq gen, and Sen knows it. Sen's going to want to opt to take chase onto Grips again and just bam this Shaq window and move him away from that tile. He's going to push him more towards 5, where you will find this pallet gym, which is a pretty safe tile, all things considered, or so you think. Can he get a little bit of a flick onto Grips? And no, Grips is just going to play it a lot better than what he did beforehand. Unfortunately, not timing that cracker correctly, and this is just going to be his ultimate demise, just spelt for you and downed, and this will be his second stage. Unfortunately for the side of Melatonin, so things are looking pretty dire for them at this point in time, Joms.
I mean, yeah, it's I'm a little bit upset because I feel like Melatonin could be 1-1 right now on these sets. They really put themselves in a good position on the big sets both times, and then X-Tap sort of came out and did X-Tap things, which is pretty upsetting. We see Nortor walking into basement, which is pretty nefarious of him. But yeah, no, I think Melatonin are actually playing really, really well, and I think they're getting maybe a little bit fatigued, which is a bit upsetting to see. Hopefully they can produce a couple more good chases and maybe just pop for that 4K0. That would be probably the ideal scenario here. I don't think they've actually left the basement yet. Yeah, they haven't. So except he has left the basement. He's just full jiggied. Looking for the Claudette. Nortor though does have the sprint burst active. Looking hard as well. Looking very, very hard for might check basement now. Has to check basement. Doesn't. Errors, and more errors.
It stings to see basement, yet so simple, yet so effective. It's like Buller. It's like checking a locker. You know, who's gonna hide in a locker? You know, are you going to check the locker or are you not? It's just a very, it's the mind game that isn't in chase. It's just a mind game. But nevertheless, taking chase onto Painkiller, going to be trying to get him with the short swing, not being able to quite do it, unfortunately. And now going to be going for a half blind, but running all the way away from that loop is Painkiller. Now opting to chase Grips is Sen. And now Sen going to be utilizing this window at main. And now just unfortunately, maybe going down. No, the crouch tech coming in. We see 2 different generators being worked in the background. And the down will spell the end for Grips, but at the cost of 2 generators up. Okay, I spoke a little bit too soon. I don't think they get that one done now, unfortunately, with Notor blowing it up and the killer notification being happening at Shaq. Now Sen's just going to go all the way back there, and I do say Nortor's going to want to try and pre-leave this now. Maybe he didn't think he could get it in time, and hence why the 7% happens. Maybe he got the eternal skill check, who knows. Now just kind of stealthing around this tree and doing it effectively and doing it beautifully, able to make that away scot-free. Now Painkiller going to opt to take this chase over at the top side of the map, but no, Billy is just going to go straight back to Shaq, and he knows, he smells blood, he knows there's somebody working this generator. Sen is out there, and now trying to look for the stealth out. I do think he's gone to the other side of the Shaq. No, he's just kind of hid behind his little L trash. Nah, that's crazy. Taking the L there is Sen, unfortunately. Now he's just going to opt to go back to the gen. Oh no, he's gone. He's checked the basement now. Unfortunately, there's no one there this time, buddy. But now he's gone back to the main side and trying to catch off Painkiller if he can. And I think he's just going to opt to go all the way down to the one side where there is a lot more for him to work with. Sen just going to fake it out and go straight back down to the Shaq where he knows the progress all is at the moment. And now just not seeing that Nortor was stealth 7, unfortunately. I do think that was the urban evasion coming in. Now Sen just chasing no, sorry, it was fixated, my bad. Sen just being chasing Painkiller at the moment. Painkiller opting to take chase back to 3. Can he make good do of it this time? Faking the vault, playing really patiently. Is he going to be able to make it the slow vault as well? He's going to catch Sen off guard. The pallet break, the crouch tech, and now just downed, and he can't slug this because Painkiller will just pick himself up. The generator progress over at Shaq is being applied as from Nortor, and now being able to stealth it out. And just being caught out. He's just going to go back for Painkiller. He knows he's there. No Mither, and I dare say, Jumps, this is a 4K2. And you love to see it if you're on the side of Zetsubou. You hate to see it if you're on the side of Melatonin.
I mean, yeah, 4K2 for Sen 10 Sen is actually a really good result to have going into the Survivor side, I think. We do have that Unbreak onto Norto. I don't think it's really going to mean anything. This gen's not going to pop. But he is fresh. So maybe if he had chose to stealth, could have done something. No, we're just going to get smited through the window. Well played to Sen 10. Like, yeah, that was really well played. Flawless in a sense from the get-go. That cross map sort of set the tone, bro.
Take a bow. I do think that pulling the 4K1 win con. If A71 could go absolutely crazy bogut Billy, then we can definitely see a 4K3 win con. Let's just hope for, you know, time's sake that the 4K2, you leave it to another day. We are heading towards a 7-hour stream at this point in time, but nevertheless, A71 going to be spotting out Sen, who will be pre-dropping this dumpster filler and now playing around the long side, playing it accordingly and running all the way down to maybe the top side. No, opting to go a little bit around the dumpster filler. Yes, A71, even I thought that Sen was going to opt to just W away from that, but nevertheless going back into Shaq and just colliding with the corner. Is A71 getting a little bit restless with his chainsaw? He's going to opt to leave and play a little bit cool, calm, collected, composed, and opt to go for something that's a little bit more in his favor, which we do find someone at a short filler, and this is Key, who's going to be pre-dropping it outside of main, more towards the 3 side now, not really having a lot to work with. He's going to be trying to utilize this filler palette over at the 3 side now, playing around it accordingly, playing around this little short wall with the Bridgestone tires, slapping it in A71's face, and it's gonna let him go all the way down to 1. We do spot somebody over at 3 working this generator, and that is the man himself. I think that is Stract, yes, who will be dropping this pallet over at the broken 4 walls. The blind coming in from the cracker as well is going to allow him to just kind of Houdini out of this place, and now A71 just struggling to get this down onto Strack. This is not what you need if you're on the side of Melatonin at the moment, and we are going to be leaving the chase once more with no down, no tag, but no gen pressure on the board, interestingly enough. I can't lie, I just thought there would be a little bit more gen progress. Maybe there is, and we're off the generators at the moment. Nevertheless, we see Baki, who for some reason is over at the 5 side of the map, just pre-dropping this pallet over the broken 4 walls. He's going to try and make Shaq accordingly, and he's just going to get caught out of position, unfortunately. This is what you need if you're the side of Melatonin. You know that there's no generators over in the background being worked, and Baki is down. So this is the first hook of the trial at the cost of just, you know, so much if you're on the side of the survivors. But nevertheless, we're going to opt to leave this now and maybe try to find our next victim, who will be over at the 10 side of the map. No, A71 going all the way back down to the middle of the map now, trying to go on a little bit of gen patrol at the moment, coming around back and breaking this 3 pallet now. Another resource gone, going back to the hook, seeing if we can catch somebody who's going for the unhook. No, trying to cross map them. I think that's a little bit too ambitious there. If you're the survivors, like you say, Jams, we just got to let him cook for a little bit, you know?
Yeah, let him hang. Pop the gens, let him hang. It's Deli on the hook as well, which is probably notable. Considering A7 is also sort of playing around the hook a bit as well, it kind of makes sense to just hit the gens for a bit. Key probably coming to Deja right now. They do have a gnarly 3-gen bottom side to break, so camping Backy on this hook right now probably is the only optimal thing you can do. I'm assuming they'll stack main maybe. Maybe not. Maybe they just triple split. Yeah, Key's getting on down that 4 side gen, so that's always good to see. And we know Sen's on a 3rd gen, so that's 3 blokes triple splitting. Hopefully young Key can last and chase here, and yeah, basically
give them the chase they need, that's a good start. That's a good Jiki, but I don't think he has much RNG here, which is not good to see.
Well, if there's anything he can do, he can definitely utilize that window over at the Z War, but nevertheless, A71's not going to have any of it. He knows he can't overcommit that, unfortunately. We did see Baki hit second in the background, and we see him stealthing around this mid-tile. Like you said, that was Deli on the hook, unfortunately, for our survivors. Now, Key opting to take this chase over at mid-12. Going to be utilizing this pallet around the Bridgestone tire, slapping the pallet in his face once more, again, doing that for the second time this trial. And now A71's going to take that slap, and he's going to go, you know what? I'm going to go back on Gen Patrol. Screw this stuff. And anyway, he's just going to find somebody working over at this shack generator. And now we see Baki just healing around in the corner. So A71 has lost his tunnel out. Strack just kind of running into a rock there, but not capitalized. Wait, what? It's just happened. How did we find Sen? Okay, Sen was just working the generator over at 9, but we completely left Strack there. So even I was a little confused on that. I thought they were going to go for a little bit of a juicer chase around the 6 side of the map, but no, instead A71 just catching out Sen. So still very good to be able to halt the generators. Ruin's still in the game. He still has Eruption at disposal for when Ruin goes, if Ruin goes. We're just trying to power through Ruin on the side of the survivors, but we're still at the win con for A71. He just needs to kill everybody at this point in time, but if they pop one more generator, that will be the tiebreaker again, and we'll be going back to the pig set. So anyway, A71's just going to try and play around this car, and just unfortunately missing that, colliding in the front bumper. Unfortunately, you hate to see it if you're the side of Melatonin, now leaving this, going all the way back to where he had found Sen, and Sen just trying to smash out this generator, try to apply the pressure. So the survivors playing really aggressive, all things considered. Now A71 going to be going back to the shack generator, and also he's playing aggressive. This is just a very high octane match, if you will, in the words of Starzy. Now Strack's just going to be playing this rock filler and just being saved by the tree. We're going to be eating plus 10 wood, unfortunately, on the side of A71. Now pre-dropping the pallet is Strack. Is he going to be able to continue on the chase? But no, A71's just going to leave that and try to catch Sen off guard on this generator once more. And I can only imagine that there will be a generator just being worked over at main at 5. And Keys just opted to leave it, bro. You have to stick that. There's like no way you don't. Anyway, you know what? Maybe that was the right play. Maybe I'm just absolutely losing my mind. But with Ruin in effect, we will be seeing a little regression taken onto that. Sen it's dangerous. Sen could go down here and he could just go straight back to main, and there'll be 2 survivors on the floor. But no, we see the generator over at 1 being procced, and we're at the Tycon at the moment. Can we get the last generator in the trial procced? I'm not too sure. No, that might have been, that's Key's generator. Okay, that was main. Okay, yeah, it's looking pretty dire for our killer here. Unfortunately, it is looking like Zetsubou will be taking home the win, and they do, and that will be a 2-0 victory to Zetsubou now with the last generator procced in the trial, a 4K1 at the moment, if you will. You love to see it. So Melatonin, I gotta give it to them, man. They played absolutely incredible to go to the very last second of the very last game. They did not give up. I applaud them, man. I really do. That, especially with a team like against Zetsubou, where you have basically championship players in multiple tournaments, just, you know, running in an absolute muck jams.
Yeah, a couple of the Team Australia boys for the Eastern World Cup too. Shout out Key, shout out Sen. I think Baki might have made it. I'm not too sure, but no, they play really well. Key had a really good game this game as well, actually. So yeah, very well played. Yeah, they did well. Melatonin did really well to bro, this guy's not real, young Strack. No, they did really well. They did really well to sustain the long hard battle that yeah, eventually did a 2-0, but probably like the closest 2-0 you'll ever see.
Yeah, definitely. And it was a long tour as well. You know, they didn't get it handed to them on a silver platter. At one point, I actually thought that they had won the pig set and it was 1-1. And I thought we'll replay the Billy set. But no, they had died it as well. And it's just, yeah, like I said, it was just like, it was still incredible to watch. It's just very, very long and tiring definitely for the viewers at home and for the staff team as well. But nevertheless, they have put up a performance, and, you know, you love to see it. You love to see the never give up attitude that these guys have. So slapping the pallet in his face is Sen onto A71. He's going to try and go for the unhook, and Bro's just playing absolutely out of his mind at the moment, just giving him a little bit of a run for his money. Just going to be faking that pallet and then vaulting it and just breaking it in the process is a 7-1, and Sen just going to go for a little bit of a wild goose chase for the end, for the clips, for the boys. And what is he going to pull out of the hat right now? He's going to opt to leave after breaking that rock filler. A7-1 continuing the chase and getting a little bit jiggied around this broken four walls. And now playing the window is Sen, but being red, unfortunately, is A7-1. He's going to go for a little bit of a chainsaw. The moonwalk's coming in, and that will spell the end of the game for you. So, very well played. In the end, it is 2-0 to Zetsubou. Very well played to Zetsubou, but at the same time, very well played to Melatonin. Now, with all things out of... Okay, Stract, why are we Kobeing and why are we just standing there, man? Like, come on. Nah, he's just trying to make the game go a little bit quicker, but nevertheless, let me get you tomorrow's sets up, because yes, we'll be back tomorrow with 3 series for you guys. Now, if I get those up real quickly, we have, starting off, Renewal vs. Gospel. So that will happen at 6 p.m. Sunday. We have the sets there will be Ghoul, Spirit, and Unknown. We have next up Void Insanity at 7:30 p.m. And this is AEST, by the way. We have Houndmaster, Cenobite, and Plague. And then lastly, we have Hardened and Clown Crew to finish things off at 9 o'clock with the picks of Spirit, Houndmaster, and Oni. Now, I want to throw a few thank yous to everybody around tonight, to the staff, to Gohan, to Tavi, to Halo, to Jums, to Stasi as well. Just a very, very thank you very much, I guess. Very well done by you guys. Very well done by all of our staff, to the ones in the Twitch chat as well, to the affiliates who watch us as well. Yes, yes, everybody who's streaming, restreaming our content. We love you all. Thank you for watching as well. Yes, you with the cheeky grin on your face. We are talking to you. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Stay tuned. Follow the Twitter as well for the content that comes with the memes and whatnot. Make sure to follow the YouTube to keep up to date to when the VODs are posted, because with Twitch's new rule, that's going to be absolute handful to keep on top of. And to the Instagram and the TikTok. I don't think I'm missing any other socials. Join the Discord if you have an ! Discord. I'm pretty sure one of our lovely mods will do that for you. We're going to raid out to Hez. We're going to sign off for the night. Jumps, is there anything else you want to say before I take us out for the final time?
Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye. We love you.